Okay, so last time we had played, the party had arrived in a barren, unknown wasteland of volcanic ash and lava flow remains. You had struck out trying to find some shelter, some semblance of just a plan. And while doing so, while Sophia Neves, the Azamar loyal to Vela, who's traveling with you, spotted a series of canyons to try and find a cave to shelter in. You were spotted by a rock while the party tried to help the greatest avian predator in this region. And after warning it away with a few hard hits, and then deciding to find somewhere a bottleneck canyon, sorry, and long resting, you decided in the morning it might be best to try and get a better idea of where you are specifically. Thoric, using his transmittable power of Bahamut, flew high, casting these spiritual-like wings, grabbing Torkel in hand to try and spot some leads and landmarks to get a bearing on where you are. Finding out that you're located in the volcanic plains in the middle of the Five Peaks, close to the coastline, but now fully aware that you are in Kalmarsha. Going back and forth to try and figure out how to get a plan out of here, coming to the agreement to head towards the city that sits in the middle of the Five Peaks to try and find some way, some concrete leads of getting out of this place, to head back to various meetings and the settled, civilized lands of the Concord, which you all are from. While traveling across the ruins and traveling across the desert, you came across some ruins with strange insect-like voices warning you away. And after deciding not to get involved with that, passing by the long, rotted ribcage of a great beast which towered over you guys, which was umpteen times bigger than yourselves, even just the raw size of these bones protruding from the desert. And then you came across the remains of some type of camp, some type of hastily put together explorer camp in one of these ruins that had been attacked with dead bodies and carcasses laying around it. Leonok spotting a survivor and then casting tongues on himself to try and talk the scout to bring him towards him. But before anything meaningful could be sorted out, the scout had his head exploded by these strange mantis bipedal creatures which appeared. Angered by the parties involvement, brought a fight about. The lesser of these creatures, these seemingly lesser warriors, which fought in melee and throwing these bone-like hand axes at you guys, were dispatched pretty quickly. And once you'd slain a great enough number of them, the leader caste of these creatures left, fading back into the desert. And Lernok approached the dead remains scout with his headless remains and took the maps he salvaged from someone within the actual encampment itself. The party, now wounded, pressed deeper towards the city. This was the only way you could go through these remains, through these ruins, to get to the city before dark. And as you walk towards the horn and hide-coated outskirts, the city's remaining solid foundations appear scattered and damaged, like whole portions have shifted and been angled from their original positions. The gaps created by this upheaval is filled by long shanty towns and bridges made of every part of a decayed body has to offer. The entrance with its tusk protrusions facing outward looks like a man-made shark maw, but one that you approach from the fish's stomach as the points are facing outward. As you can see from a distance of around 800 feet, best your eyes can tell, you can see two large figures, thorax-sized, looking to be standing close to the toothy gate, which does seemingly look open. You can see no other figures around or people around, but you can faintly hear on the horizon towards the city the yips, the cheers, the shouts from a city of hundreds of voices calling out in an alien language that of your own. Now injured and tired after a day of traveling, what do you do?
So what is the plan for getting out of here? What did we settle on?
We didn't settle on anything, that's the point. We're here to try and figure out what we can settle on.
I just realized I've been muted. So effectively, Ryan, the decision that ended up being made was that we're going to try and head towards the nearest town, city, and hope that because there's been some reports of smuggling and something from the region, that'll have a way back. Be pretty limited on what we had, really. We didn't have great many options.
Isn't this the region where all those barbarian raiders are coming from?
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense that any town we go to is going to be one of those barbarian raider towns.
Does it?
Well, if they're raiding us, I doubt there's nice, rich, pleasant towns here.
Who knows?
Okay.
Yeah, we don't really have many options.
Well, I thought we could just head west and hoof it. But okay, let's go to town. Let's see what we can do. Sure, let's do that way.
Okay. Are you guys doing anything while you're heading in? Are you changing anything about yourselves? Doing anything to prepare?
Just Thork is just going to keep his eyes open. He's in a strange land of people who may or may not act with hostility, but he's not going to be the one to initiate the hostilities.
Okay.
Veronock is still in quite significant pain because yes.
Do we know what language they speak here?
No.
No, we know there was the survivor we managed to speak a little bit to before he kind of got his head before he lost his head. So it was a completely unknown language. Not I believe Leonok made the check and didn't recognize it at all. But we ended up needing tongues spell to understand and speak with it.
I think Thork has tongues.
It was one of the scrolls, so that was it.
So we don't have tongues right now. Just we can get later though.
Well, no. Well, Sean's not here at the moment, so I can't answer for him.
Oh, yeah.
I have comprehend languages, which is written.
The written version. Oh, we did also get. I believe it was a set of maps. I don't remember. Was there actually anything else in that bundle of things I picked up? Or was it just maps? It was like a geological survey map, wasn't it?
Yeah, you briefly look at it. It's like a highly detailed topographical map with a language you don't understand. So just for a point, if anyone wants to make a check for the map, it would be intelligence check at disadvantage because you don't know language.
I can do it.
Wait, I can cast tongues on someone.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you've tongues. You've. I mean, not right now, but do you have it remembered, or can you do it tomorrow?
I think I can do it right now. Hold on.
Yeah, Leonok, by this point, your tongue spell have ran out because it lasted an hour.
Yeah, I imagine it lasts an hour. It lasts an hour, so unless we're doing this immediately after our combat, or even less after,
it's probably about an hour.
I was going to say, I think we were still a ways out, weren't we?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that makes sense.
I can only do it tomorrow. I can't do it now.
We can wait till. I mean,
it only works in spoken or signed languages, so that wouldn't work.
Yeah, it won't work on the written language, but that's what comprehend language is for.
Yeah,
but between the two spells, we can do both. But
cool. Okay, that's good to know. Dim, can I look at these things and see if I can decipher them?
Sure. Roll just this regular intelligence check with disadvantage then.
Oh, they changed the character sheet. Now I can just click on advantage, disadvantage, or automatic. Oh, that's nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's good. 11. That's just an about ability you want to use there.
Nah, there's nothing I have that proof it a 13. Ooh.
Looking at it, it's a language which doesn't have the same characters to yours, and it's like a macro to micro to minuscule painful detail, and you're really unsure of, even with the bearings of Torkel, with like getting a spot and like looking high up, it's hard to tell, like, is that supposed to be a mountain or is that supposed to be water? Like it's really difficult to understand. With your just regular +4 intelligence, you probably gather there's somewhat of a nature to this map which makes it hard to understand.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. All right. You guys, as I said, are about 800 feet away from this. You're just regular sand, like right up to the front gate. So you still got distance away to plan or whatever you want to do.
So also, just so I can remember, I believe we couldn't find any identifying details on the soldiers either. Not that we knew of, at least.
None that you recognize, no.
Yeah, cool. That's fine. Just want to double check. But yeah, I kind of think at least getting out of the desert at the very least is should be our high priority. Oh, as much as we can should be our highest priority.
Okay. You guys want to head towards the city?
Yes.
Okay. As you walk, trudge overfoot in the sand, it starts to get slightly thinner and thinner as more solid foundations and stone, and it's not so much a slog to walk through. As you get closer and closer, you see the forms of these people, of these two burly warriors. They seem to be not armored, more leather straps, like leather armor over their shoulder blades and their chest. You recognize one of them as a full-blooded, green-skinned, like dark green-skinned orc, and the other is probably got another couple inches over Thoric's height. They are a muscular felinid with a strong lion's head without a mane. They have broad chest and angular shoulders, and the two of them are armed with these kind of point down into the sand great swords, which look rusted and gnarled, and half like one of the crossguards on them has been broken, but it doesn't look any less dangerous. And as you get around 50 feet away from them, and one of them raises their hands up and says something in a guttural, strange language to you. And any of you reply to it?
I suppose his hand is up. Is it the kind of the typical stop hand, or?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then yeah. Thork will stop and just put a hand up in return.
Mm-hmm.
That's about all he can try and figure out. Like,
yeah. Again, I'm assuming it's a very unfamiliar language to all of us.
Yeah. Like these people are clearly like they have long healed wounds as well. Like they are clearly clearly experienced warriors.
Could we tell if it was the same language as was spoken before, or
Definitely not.
Definitely not. Okay.
The first language you heard that you spoke in tongues when it first offered you, it was quite fast flowing, seemed semi detailed in like its vocabulary. This is like very much almost like grunts and oofs and like clicks with the tongue.
Yeah. Okay.
DM.
Yes.
We're about 50 feet away from some form of kind of gate or sentry with walls.
You're about 50 feet from the guards, and then about 65 feet from the actual threshold of the gate with this tough stone wall.
Okay, from this distance, is there anything indicating, if I was to kind of like squint even, I'm looking for any sign or anything similar to thieves' cant or anything? Is there any indications of any iconography or?
Yeah, make a perception check.
Sure.
6 or 8, sorry. No, you don't see anything.
Okay.
Okay, anyone else want to do anything?
So we probably also should have mentioned that last session was absolutely cursed, and like we basically never rolled above a 5.
Just to add to that before we get back into the game, I recently got Baldur's Gate 3, and that game hates me rolls wise. But yeah, so I think maybe something's in the air, maybe.
You said you were looking out, Thoric. So roll me a perception check, please, because you said you were looking out. 13. They're not what you thought was maybe movements of wind and like just like all this strange like pitching and yawing of like some of the ropes. You actually do see that on the kind of above the threshold of the gate, about another 60 feet up, you do see a couple handful of humanoid figures like leaning over the barrier and looking at you, making they're not stealth, they're not hidden from you guys, but they're very much standing still and watching this approach from you guys. They look to be, again, similarly leather-bounded, hide armored, and holding spears or javelin belts on their hips.
Okay, well, it's their home. They're allowed to have a look at people arriving, so not gonna show any obvious nervousness or sign that this is a threat. Just, hey, we're here. We're stopping like you asked, kind of deal.
You see the woman, the Leonid. She kicks the sand, and you see a chain is exposed where she kicks the sand, and she reaches down with her left hand and grabs the chain and pulls it really taut and hard, and you just see a person fly out of a small little alcove of refuge, dragged by a collar, a chain around their neck, and get dragged through the sand, awake, suddenly roused and gasping as they're just pulled right to the front. The person then picks them up by the scruff of their neck and makes them stand and barks an order at them and then points towards you. You see this woman is a tiefling, dark, ruddy skinned. Both her horns have been cracked off and broken off of her head. She looks maybe mid-40s, and she has a pale, skinny frame. She looks at you with the kind of bloodshot eyes and coughs, and she starts to speak a couple languages. And then when hearing you guys have no reaction to that, she says, finally in words which you can understand, which clicks to all six of you, including Sophia, is Southern Concord, is the Southern dialect of Immune. And she says in a kind of painful, gruff, sand-filled mouth, "Greetings, strangers. Stare in awe at the Queen of Flesh and Sinew City. You may be allowed to enter if you agree to follow the Queen's words of truth. Her power is absolute. Do you understand this tongue?"
Yes,
Yes.
We
I guess
understand.
multiple of us call out at once. Yes.
Yeah. She looks at the group of you, and then she seems to repeat back and gives a nod and speaks to the two guards. And it's kind of strange awkwardness.
Are we being looked over? Are we being... This sounds very metagamey, I'm sorry, but I like, does it look like they're trying to be insightful, the guards, to our reactions to this?
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're assessing us as threats.
Yeah.
They're
100%.
appraising us for price.
All of the above.
This woman who speaks your language says to you, "There are few rules in the City of Spines, but one is not to go against the wishes of our beloved queen. Do not harm the circle or those that pay fealty to her. Anything else is permitted."
Is there a way of knowing who these would be? Some way we could tell. That's not. I'm sorry. Rick is very visibly uncomfortable with this because of how they are obviously treating this tiefling.
So
he's uncomfortable with the situation, but he's also not in a position where they can do anything. So he's there a way of like we could know beforehand, so it's not to know who not to go against.
They bear the Queen's mark, a bloody circle. Most have a scab, a long scar, along their cranium the entire way around, with no hair touching it.
Okay. We're just looking for passage through and find out some information, and we don't want to cause any trouble.
She's translating all this back to the guards as well, and they don't seem to nod or, be like, "Oh, thank you for translating." They just seem to stare you guys down. One of them says a command to her, and she kind of shirks a little bit, and then looks to you. I see most of you are men. No man is allowed to possess a weapon within the city's. I forget the word. Land. Only women may hold blades and hammers.
Yeah.
Hey, DM, I have a question.
Yeah.
Are there any Dragonborn that are here?
You don't see any, no.
I'm gonna lean over towards Thork and just say they might not know to tell that you're a man. Oh wait, no, do you have? Never mind. I'm just saying it's a possible play.
It may not be wise to risk anything at the moment.
Yeah, okay.
We can just
I
give
just
her.
don't like the idea.
We can just give our weapons to Sophia, and she can give them to us when we need them.
That's true. I guess I don't like. Okay, no, I don't like this, but okay.
I don't like it either, but we need to make the best of a bad situation.
Well, why do we have to go in there? Maybe we could just ask him. Hey, which way? Or where are we roughly?
The idea of splitting up isn't ideal, but
Oh no, I wasn't saying split up at all. It was,
I'm presenting the idea now.
We can just give them our weapons.
Well, we give
him to
Sophia.
Sophia.
Yeah.
I mean,
we don't necessarily need them at the moment.
Yeah,
Okay, I'd be
I think we
fine.
just give the weapons to Sophia.
Okay,
Yeah.
you know, that's fine. We have enough of us or casters. It's fine.
Yep. Yeah,
You
so Torko walks over to Sophia and just hands her his mace. Then you hold on to these and we can skirt around there.
She looks at you. She looks at you and all five of you. If you're all giving me your weapons, I'm going to need to empty out my backpack and put them all in there because some of you have some very heavy armaments. Give me a moment. And she drops down her rucksack and starts to like take, stuff out and move stuff around to accompany all your weapons, basically.
Logistics.
The bag
I'm
of
afraid I am a little bit older than I might look. Is it acceptable for me to keep my staff? It helps me with walking.
You wouldn't
fated
deny,
Gandalf
old man.
You would not deny an old man of his staff, would you?
Make a persuasion check, please.
Okay.
Toxie, don't you look eternally like 25?
No.
I mean, that's what I said. I'm older than I look. 28.
She speaks and then says something to the guards, and they kind of get one of them slightly nods. You may keep your stick, feeble one.
Nice.
I am grateful for benevolence.
I feel like we probably should have come in here a bit more, brazen and looking strong instead of looking feeble.
I think this is actually the better
think
way
this
to
is
present
better.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I just kept my weapon.
Yeah, and also my
not
shield
much-
is
it's not
my
much-
shield
it's
does
not
more
much-
damage.
Yeah, okay.
Oh no, you've got to take your shield off as well. Like no ornaments, no nothing, and your plate mail.
Oh, that one's promising.
We have to be
Sophia-
unarmored.
You have to be
Okay,
unarmed.
I'm gonna ask you again, guys. Do we need to go in there? Because this sounds like we're gonna get enslaved or turned into
Well, this
more
is the-
spines.
We can walk back out into the deadly
Yeah, again,
sands, if you'd like, and then walk for a day to where we were to the mountains, and then walk for a day through the mountains. Or we can go in here and look for a ship.
there are basically two solutions here. Right? We can probably be in danger in the city, or we can absolutely be in danger out in the desert.
How about we
Yeah.
try to restrict our time spent in the city to one night and one night only? Long rest, information, take it.
How about
hear
we
me out.
just don't piss anyone off? Are we capable of doing that?
I'm kind of in agreement with
Let me
Ryan
make
at the
my
same time,
point.
where we probably just don't want to be here at all.
Let me make my point real quick. This is the city of spines. It's a bunch of people who obviously enslave people, and they're having us take off our armor and arms. Now, if we go in there, we don't spend a night, because that's when they're going to come and get us.
Okay, but what is the alternative here?
We walk west. We have food and we have water, right? We have food and water.
We have plenty of food and water.
We walk west.
You want to try and
the walking west isn't the problem. The ability to walk and consume food and water isn't the problem. The ability to be able to defend ourselves from rocks or 100 fucking
you weren't here for that,
ants
Ryan.
or dragons.
You weren't here for that.
You were there,
Ryan,
man.
But one rock knocked out one party member and almost knocked out another.
It 100 to 0'd me in a single action.
Okay, I'll go on the permission that if this turns around, they try to enslave us. I have just blanket permission to level this city.
You can certainly try.
Yeah, I know it's a try thing, but I don't want to be like, I have to hold back because there's a school next to the.
If
I appreciate
movement goes towards us, I'm going to be of the same mind where this is a extremely hostile environment, and fight or flight. It's going to be both. It's going to be fight and flight.
I don't think anybody's saying go in here and willingly get enslaved if someone tries to capture you. But the alternative is also incredibly unwilling. The only thing is you get to keep the armaments that you don't use. So we'll be fine if we just try and go in, achieve our goal. Don't piss anybody off. Don't attack anybody. Don't be smarmy. And just do what we have to do.
Doesn't this actually have zero effect on Hendrik whatsoever?
Yeah, it has zero effect on Hendrik.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about just me. I'm worried about all the guys who stand in front of me not having armor or weapons.
We're giving all to, if it's allowed, at least. We haven't even gone to this point yet, but we're giving all to Sophia. She's unfortunately going to have to be a pack mule for the next at least 12 hours, but we will have everything within reach.
Okay.
We have to. We can give her our weapons, which is within the realm of possibility that she could potentially carry all of them. Giving her our plate mail is probably a non-starter. We're going to have to stay that's going to be stowed somewhere.
Yeah, you can store it in your bags and satchels and stuff like that in various pieces.
Once we're just not wearing
also just to consider as well, everyone that you've saw so far from the city have been leather armored or bound. Walking in the city with plate mail is probably going to make you massively attention grabbing.
Yeah.
Wait, so everybody in the city is wearing leather armor, but we have to take our armor off?
Well,
I don't think I do.
Everyone you saw wearing armor and holding weapons has been women so far.
I see.
Yeah, because the ruling is men can have.
And the two guards are female, and the slave is female.
Yes, with their horns snapped off.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh
well,
my
I've
god!
Taken
We're
going no skill now.
Are we snoo?
No.
We're gonna be snoo.
I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna be enslaved like people out of Pulp Fiction. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah,
Is everyone disarming and this taking the armor off?
So all armor is not just plate, so leathers as well has to be taken off.
Leather is okay, but plate and medium armor is not okay.
Okay.
I'm taking off the armor and the weapons.
I'd really like to hold on to maybe one dagger.
You can make a sleight of hand check if you want.
Please don't fuck this up.
I could try, but I mean, it's a big old. I'm not on that. It's too dangerous, too risky.
Okay. After a while, you guys, because this takes 10 minutes to take heavy armor off, each of you, and that's just by yourself. So after some time passes, the translator calls out to Sophia and asks her, "Do you take responsibility for these men?" She looks at the party and just nods. I guess so, she replies. So be it. Approach when you wish to enter. You will have some checks over your men, and you make sure nothing is deceptive.
Oh, thank God you shouldn't try and hide that dagger.
It seems our fate will be in your hands for a while, Sophia.
Yeah, we're going to need a bit more confidence, Sophia.
She looks at you. I'm a lot more confident when I've got someone else's face on me, but when it's just me,
Well, think about it this way. This is the perfect place for you to just be you right now.
You're the matriarch of the group right now.
Okay. Weird, guys.
I do not want to be.
Isn't weird, right? You're not. No, I don't want to know.
No, it's not. Okay, whatever.
Anyway.
Weird.
Yeah, because like, oh, you're the mom now. It's like,
Cypher's like, okay.
It's like the sidekick is like, well, okay, I guess.
Matriarch can mean female leader.
Yeah,
that's what it does mean.
Yeah, exactly. She has to act like the female leader of the group to maintain a sense of strength of the group, so we don't get picked off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You disarm. You put on your traveling clothes, whatever clothes you have under your armor, and your weapons. All your weapons are on Sophia, but your armaments, your personal armors, I will say, are all in your persons. They're in your satchels. So, but it would take some time to put them on if you need to do an emergency. The party approaches closer towards this strange translator, and get about 20 feet, and one of the guards from a back horn, their back pocket lifts out a horn and blows into it, and this kind of bassy trill goes through the air as you see a bunch of connected ropes go taut as the horns are pulled apart, like an orifice opening up his fanged teeth, as you hear like actual leather and a hide move, and jingles of some chain as well that's been connected to it, as you see a long tunnel made up of like a shantytown tunnel with strange rubber coverings and roofing on it go towards the entrance of the city. And the people check you down. The two guards with a greatsword still in hand, like kind of grab you and manhandle you and look at you around, but no one's actually hidden anything, so they don't find anything, or they do roll a check, but they didn't find anything strange on any of you.
Even my rat.
Even your rat. And the translator, she gets to like go to the threshold of the door with Sophia, and the two guards are like still looking. One of the guards is still looking back towards the party, and you guys going to enter this tunnel, while the other one's still looking outwards towards the desert with the greatsword like over her back, shoulder blades. The translator gets about 10 feet away from Sophia, and says, "I don't know how far you've traveled to be here. Don't get involved in anything. This is a strange place for people of your customs. Just be careful." Sophia nods. Looks at the party. "Okay, come on, guys. Let's go in the city." And the translator's about to say a word goodbye, and the chain just yanks and drags her across the desert floor as she's dragged back towards the guards. And one of the guards that pulled her back just points the point of the sword and gestures for you guys to go into the tunnel.
Girl winces seeing her get dragged like that.
You walk through the tunnel. It is dim light. You see the maw crack in and close. This horrible sucking, bone cracking noise is all closing itself, like you have entered an organ. And the tunnel itself goes about 80 feet towards a strange stone dais, which is oval shaped. And all across all of the openings of this tunnel, which is dim light, all of you can see clear as day that there are people, humanoids, looking through all the holes at you guys. But there's something off about them. There's something strangely animalistic about the way they're looking at you. There's humans, gnolls, orcs, a goblin or two, a hobgoblin, but they have this kind of strange, like, hue, like a kind of bloodshotness to their eyes. And some of them start to reach their hand to the bars, like slowly grabbing at you guys, like lost or wayward souls reaching for you. But the tunnel's wide enough where you can kind of walk one behind the other rather than shoulder to shoulder and not maybe get touched by most of them.
They look like they're infected that if they touched you it would be a bad thing, or is it just they're just going to
make a medicine check?
Yeah, is it like an aggressive grasping or a more just a desperate one?
I'm also gonna jump on top of this. I probably don't have experience with these kind of creatures, but from an animalistic point of view, does this seem kind of like over exaggerated, or is there something pushing this behavior compared to a normal kind of like animal sense behavior?
Make a insight check, please, Orly.
Sure.
16. Nothing. You don't recognize pusses or anything that looks like sign of disease, but you do see on some of them, Torkel.
Mhm.
Some of them have like an extra arm. Some of them have a hole in their stomach which is oozing fluid. Some of them have a jaw, like an opened jaw where their throat should be, and their top head is like squished like a raisin where a face would be. And for a 12 for you, Laranok, you kind of get this strange of some of them seem lost souls, some of them seem wanting help, and others seem like rabid for you. With an insight check for Orly, it's like animals caught in a pen and left for some great time, and they don't get much stimulation. Like when you leave like a pig in a shed for a week in the dark, and it just has strange reactions to any stimuli. You guys want to walk through the tunnel?
In single file.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hands and legs.
Oh, yeah. So
Remain inside the ride.
Do not let them touch you. We do not know if there is something medically wrong with them. I think we're going to have to swallow our generosity in this place.
There's moans and weeps, and you gather that actually most of what you heard wasn't actually city dwellers. It was this strange miasma of people in this tunnel. And there must be maybe 80, 90, 100. And like every little crack and gas gap that people can fill with looking at you or sticking their arms through to grab at you is filled. And Sophia looks over the shoulder and just says quite poignantly, "Where the fuck have you guys taken me?" Walking towards this strange oval dais.
So, to leave as soon as possible.
Yes.
You're a bit quiet.
You're a bit quiet.
Sorry. Honestly, this microphone is dying. I've had issues with it.
You walk towards the dais of a process around 80 feet, and there in the middle of it is a small stone raised dais, and there is a single white pearl sitting off the side, and there's some kind of like socket to the side of it. And you guys all stand on the oval platform.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Sophia
Is
says,
a socket pearl sized?
"Yeah, it is. Yeah."
And the pearl looks movable.
It does if you move it. Yeah.
I nod to Sophia and say, perhaps we have to put the pearl into the socket and it engages something.
She reaches over and touches it, and everyone ready?
Do we have a choice?
As will ever be.
She flicks it and it rolls into the socket. The oval platform starts to rise at a slow pace as you hear like groans and desperate looks. And as you start to rise up from above the tunnel, you see an entire ground level floor of hundreds of people like this, strangely impacted by whatever grotesque mutations they're experiencing. Tunnels and coves and caverns and splits in the rock of the most broken, lowest part of the city, filled with vagrants and dregs that you have not seen the likes of before. And you start to rise and rise up. The dim light starts to get brighter and brighter as torchlight and a strange stop comes at about 80 feet. And there's another kind of hallway, and you see actual people. You see actual people who live here. And there are, hide hunters and people polishing strange, like, pieces of bone and scrimshawing like a femur off a creature as they kind of look at you guys. And Sophia puts on a brave face and just doesn't look back at you guys for support, and she just walks forward out of this tunnel into a larger opening filled with torchlight.
Follow.
Okay. You go about 20 feet, and a huge bazaar of stalls, of purveyors, of peddlers greets you. There is a fountain of great size before you, around maybe 300 feet in diameter, size fountain filled with brilliant blue clear water, the clearest water you guys have ever seen in your life. And there are queues of people at various sections of the fountain queuing up to fill flagons, to fill large vases of water for drinking water. There are strange towers above you of torchlight and watchtowers of those like similarly armored figures, and you can see that they some of them have these strange like circle, like burned or scabbed marks on their flesh. And like looking up from a city level, like a split vein in the earth, there are just cascading bridges hundreds of feet above you to the highest points of the city. The city is, rather than wide, it is vertical. The different levels of city, you can see there are different levels of clothing, of wealthiness, of chaos. Seems to be worse the lower down you guys are, where you currently are. It seems to get more wide. It seems to get more less cramped, more fine. The architecture is less damaged the higher you go above the city, but this lower level, the second level, shall we say, this is like crumbled buildings. They're still hastily, heavily remained rubbles of stone where people set up small little shacks. It's a shanty town of fantasy badlands, of people selling animal remains, hides, strange flagons or strange little capsules of water. And you guys kind of all take it all in.
So it's almost as if they're taking the idea of social hierarchy to a all new practical way.
Yeah, it's literally a hierarchy.
I'm very interested in if I'm close by the water. Is there any way I could make some kind of like nature check to kind of like determine?
Yeah, sure.
How organic? Yeah, how organic this water could be. Just looking initially, at least before I even touch it, would I be able to make some form of check?
Yeah, make a nature check. Yeah.
Thank you.
26. Wow. You can smell fresh water. It is crisp, like it is almost like mountain level Alp snowmelt, clear, fresh water. You can actually see some fish swimming in it. And the fountain, as you look down into it, is clear and it goes deep. Like it goes deep, and you're not sure of actually, if you're seeing the floor, you're seeing just light failing to penetrate how deep it goes.
I'm going to kind of look over towards Torkel to invite him over almost.
I'll stump over.
Does this seem natural? Like architecturally speaking?
I will potentially roll a check.
You can make an intelligence check, yeah.
I'll look down into the well, like if it's clear enough that I can see how far down I can see.
Yeah, make a perception check, yeah.
Okay. Perception. 14.
You kind of lose that. You're not sure where it ends, or if you're seeing the bottom, or just the lights running out, because the sun's starting to set over the horizon now.
Yeah, I'll do it. No, I have no idea.
No.
Yeah. Just I can't say for sure. Everything about the city seems weird.
Curious.
It doesn't look like it would harm you to drink it, but perhaps it was created magically.
I take a sip.
It's like creek water, like fresh, clear blue water.
What's the general smell of this place? Well, like we're currently at the bazaar, right?
It smells like a dried up slaughterhouse.
Beautiful.
There's BO There's animal dung. There is dried blood on many spots on the floor. And mixed amongst all that is scent of like heavy, strong alcohol as well. And pipe smoke. And
So similar to just a typical bazaar, then I guess
can
it's
the
just...
group give me a deception check, please? Just a group deception check.
Ooh.
What am I deceiving here?
Just a flat deception?
No, deception. 12, 14, 25. Brilliant. Oh,
I don't even know what I'm lying about.
My fucking... Right, there we go.
Deception for Sophia.
12.
Okay, sure.
Your whole existence here is a lie, Hendrik. I think that's
I'll
the
be
thing.
I'll be back in 5 minutes, guys.
No problem.
Yeah.
My deception is that I'm having a really good time.
You see that there seems to be like a walking through patrol of 8 of these people with javelins, a hand axe, and that's as kind of as advanced as the weaponry you get. And they walk through, kind of patrolling this square, this bazaar, and they walk right past you guys. These circly red marked people with scabs around their cranium, and they just avoid you.
The makeup of that group, how many people was it?
8.
8 people, and all women, all armed with small arms like hand axes and spears.
Simple weapons.
None of them armed with what would look like a staff or a specific like symbol or anything like that. You know,
no, nothing arcane.
Magically inclined. Yeah, okay.
No, they look like skirmishers, like not as strong and as burly as the 2 gate watchers, who seem to have like reclaimed great swords that had long been recovered. But these are like more like impromptu weapons that have been like made recently.
There's girls, guys. We can take them. We're men. Right? We can just take them. It'll be easy.
Sophia kind of gestures around the bazaar, like, well, I think it's best if I lead you guys, but do you have any idea of where we should go? Should we try and go up this, look around for somewhere to find something to eat, or what are we thinking?
I wouldn't necessarily trust the food here for us, but anywhere that looks like it could be for trade or travel or anything like that would be my guess.
I would imagine that you might find some people who do shipping in one of the higher levels. But
we may also run into another issue with that. We neither speak their native language. Do we even know if they take the money that we have?
I approach one of the bazaar shops and point at what looks like the lowest value item and hold out a hand with some gold in it.
He looks at you and swears at you and shouts at you and spits on the ground and gestures for you to go away.
Your guy going up to talk.
The second you showed him gold, it was he seems to be like performing like an exorcism on his body and like his shop where he looked at.
Yeah, I don't think that was teaching that.
It appears that they are not only not willing to accept gold, but visibly repulsed by it. So we do have some issue.
They don't like gold.
Okay. They may not like our gold.
Yes, no, I know, but even if they don't like coin, generally they like people like gold. But I guess not here.
He doesn't like gold.
Do we have anything that we can barter with?
Not
you.
Not without knowing what of value.
Welcome, slaves. The slaves may have some value.
How about my rat?
We may be in a predicament. They don't seem to use our weapons. They don't seem to use any of the armor that we have. I'm unsure what we could gift.
DM.
Yes.
Is there any kind of art, specifically architectural art, like sculptings or wood carvings or anything of the sort
Make a perception check, please.
Sure thing. Fuck.
9. Best you can see, Orly, there's a handful of stalls and around the fountain. Like you guys are kind of doing like a route. Like you're keeping moving because standing still, you're probably going to like bump into people, and you're just constantly moving around. And you see one of these stalls. There are various small little figurines carved out of bone, out of ivory, and they're inletted with strange symbols, not of a language or a runic nature you understand, but like scrimshaw of bones into like animal figures, into worms, into even just like strange little figurine men seems to be something that's sold in this marketplace.
Okay. Worst comes to worst. We have something that we can try to attempt to make money to barter with, aside from labor.
Oh, I'm sure we got healing potions. We could maybe barter those. Everyone uses healing potions, right?
We still have invisibility potions as well, don't we?
Yeah, but it's harder to communicate what those are.
It's not clear to me that they have any sort of arcane disposition. But potentially, yes. At any rate, we shouldn't spend time worrying about paying a man that we cannot identify. We have to find the people that we need. I suggest that we take a long walk through this place.
Well, we don't need food. I think we have enough. Well, actually, I might be speaking out turn here, water-wise, because of how long we've spent here. I wasn't at the last session, but I think we have enough. Yeah, we have enough for a day at least. The only thing we need to barter for right now is just sanctuary, or at least somewhere to rest.
I'd rather rest in some kind of hostel than stay out in the streets at night looking at the
Agreed.
state of these people.
I mean, not to reduce myself down to anything too basic, but I'm big and strong. I can do heavy lifting and manual labor. That might be able to get us some kind of barter or currency.
Finding a room is going to be hard when you don't take money.
We should probably look for a nice middle ground between the lowest state of hostel and maybe a higher end, if possible.
As much as I detest saying this, we may not be in a position where we have a roof of any kind. We cannot speak and we cannot barter with them particularly, then finding any kind of shelter may be difficult. It may be a particularly uncomfortable night should we need it.
Can I have another look around again to see if there's any thief? My brain's not working. You know what I'm trying to say?
Thieves can't. Yeah.
Thieves can't.
Yeah.
Thieves can't what?
Make a perception or investigation check, then, please.
Thank you.
19. Orly, scanning around and looking, you see that there are a handful of remnant thieves' cant marks around various little alcoves and ruined buildings around the fountain. And beside all of them are long yellowed skulls mounted on spears, and there has been hand painted over dried blood obfuscating the thieves' cant. Like they have marked it as not welcome.
Cool.
That was a good idea.
It's a very good idea.
It's very good information.
Do the ruined buildings in this level, do they also are they comparable to an architectural structure and construction? Are they all of the same sort of make or style as the buildings, the more
the exercise ones on the outside?
The ones higher up. Like is it a continuous sort of similar architectural construction all the way up? Are the ruined buildings on the ground on this level of a different make.
These are much more decayed, and they seem much more affected by just mess. I mean, like physical, like dust and debris and all these things. The ones higher up, they have a similar architecture, so they do match, but they don't seem to be as affected by whatever catastrophe happened that caused basically the city to fracture and break into cracks and various little coves.
Okay.
And like the only place you really see is like an intact building at this level, like within the kind of 1,000 feet that you've wandered for the past 10 minutes walking around. It seems to be claimed by some mercenaries who don't have those red markings. They seem to be like holding up in there, and they can see like a cook fire in there, and they've still got like a tarp blocking like one entrance to it. So very valuable here to have a roof over your head. Most people in bedrolls seem to be slumped against walls with like hides or like overcoats, and various people seem to be just kind of like anything that's got an overhang, like lying underneath that for shelter.
And can we identify any elevators or stairwells that go up?
Yeah.
Any ways
Yeah,
to
you can.
get to the next level? Yeah, we can see
Yeah,
that.
you can see a handful of them scattered around. They are guarded though. They are guarded by people. Which make a perception check for me, please. Since you're looking at this.
Okay.
Seven.
It's not my day today.
It's not your day. I mean, there's a few details which are clear. So there seems to be two elevators on either sides of the market, which seem to go up to basically. I'll draw it actually. I'll draw it because that'll be easier than explaining it. Let's go into green. Okay, so this is kind of the wall, shall we say, and this is the market here. This isn't great, and there's an elevator like here. And an elevator like this is fucking terrible. I'm gonna delete this. This is shocking. All right, let me draw the bazaar first. So bazaar, a big circle, and then there's kind of these canyony walls up the side of the bazaar, and they're very tight. And across them are these bridges of like sinew and rope, and the two sides look different. Like the architecture looks slightly different, and things. And then from one side of the bazaar looks to be an elevator here and an elevator here, and the people guarding each elevator look different. One of them is strangely like got a painted yellow face and painted yellow upper body to their arms, like hand chalk yellow, and the other ones are painted with two-tone colors, one with a dark black and the other, and like so from their nose to their clavicle is dark black paint on one side of their body, the left side, and then their other side is a dull blue, very much marking them as like two different people, and their armament's slightly different. So the armaments of the people in yellow seem to be more like cudgels and bludgeoning weapons, whereas the other ones seem to be like armed with more pointed, reclaimed spears and sharpened bones.
Here's some damage. Good to know.
Yeah.
Okay. So it looks like there's two separate factions.
Mm.
All right, I turn back to the group. I don't know what to. Honestly, I'm unsure of what to do now. We have no money. We have no way to talk to them. The entranceways to the higher levels are protected by guards that we cannot talk to or explain our situation to. And even if we could bribe them, we have nothing of value. So it's going to be difficult.
Well, we came in here for looking for a guide,
Well,
right? That was the main thing.
Sort of. I
We
mean,
came in here looking for passage.
what we do have though is a fairly concrete location now that if we ask, conversing with, oh my god, I can never remember his name. The person under Jerome or the person under
Osmundo Arcus.
Osmundo. I'm sorry, that name just doesn't stick for me. I'm so sorry. Osmundo Arcus. If we now that we have a concrete answer on where we are, they may be able to help more than if we were to just tell them we're in the desert somewhere.
I agree.
But it does seem like with the language barrier and the lack of anything of no particular value, it would be very difficult unless. Oh well, it would be very difficult for us to find any way to bargain our way into anything, really. But...
Well, we have the ability to talk to them, just not today, right? We can do it tomorrow. Someone here has tongues.
Yes.
So that just lets you understand, though. It doesn't let you talk.
It lets you communicate.
Oh, okay. We can't do that today. We'll do it tomorrow, right?
Correct.
Okay. Well, that's our option. That's our next step forward, right?
Orly,
Mm-hmm.
you there?
Oh no, he's been kidnapped.
Orly's gone.
Oh my god, he's been enslaved already. Fuck,
He's
the
gone.
worst part about this is that Hendrik was
Go
right.
ahead, go ahead.
Orly, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. You feel a slight pinch on your shoulder.
What is it?
You turn around and you see a person of your same stature and build, an old wizened female gnome with grey hair and purple eyes and a nose ring, like a long faded brass nose ring, look at you really intently, and she says to you very quickly, "What are you doing in these lands? It's not safe for your type of people to be here. Concord people are not safe in this city."
We're looking for a way to get back to Concord.
That's hard. That's very hard. And by this point, unless you're trying to hide it, Orly, she's sneaky as well, but definitely not as sneaky as you. And are you just here? How long have you been here?
I want to give her a once over, check intentions.
Make an insight check.
Man.
Yeah. She seems
Is
curious.
there also, sorry, is there a way to stand in front of them so they're shielded from the majority of the bazaar in case people are looking to see if she's having a conversation with them?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, could I just sidle along and do that, please?
Yeah, sure. You can hear what they're saying now, and she says to you, Orly, there's so much to try and say about this place. It's not like the capital. It's not like Oakard. It's dangerous. There are no rules here. If your people get noticed from where you're from, there's pride in taking you people. You know things. You know how to. You're learned, and that's a valuable skill here. I've a valuable slave here. You should be careful. I know a place not too far away from here. We can talk. I can tell you things. Yes, I can tell you things that will keep you safe here. I don't want any part of this. I just don't want any more bloodshed.
I'll turn to the group. We may have sanctuary. Do we want to have a look at least?
From my proximity to that conversation, could I do an insight check to see if I think she's on the up and up?
Yes, sure, yeah.
Thanks. That's it. Come the fuck on.
She's got a hurried tone.
We are still cursed.
She's got a hurried tone. She seems to be looking not at you guys, but more at the kind of watchtowers around the bazaar. And she's kind of taking a couple steps back, follow me, before people start to notice we're having a conversation and we're not moving, we're not buying and selling. Come on, let's go. I don't want to draw any attention. You don't want to draw any attention. Let's move.
Okay. Yeah. She doesn't seem like she's hurrying us into something because she wants us to get somewhere. She wants us to get out of here. So yeah, okay.
She wants to get away.
Feels confident that she's on the I'll take anything we can get.
Even if it is a trap, it's just as risky staying. We should go.
Okay, friend, lead the way.
Okay, everyone, make me a stealth check, please.
Hey, I
I'm
got
like
a disadvantage for once.
You don't have
What are you
disadvantage
doing?
'cause-
I have a disadvantage. I still suck at it, but it's not disadvantage.
I have a +2 to my stealth. This is going to be great. This is stealthy. Oh,
26.
but I've not rolled above a 10 in fucking 2 sessions.
No disadvantage for the win. The arm was just holding me back.
Lord, I see what you do for the other people.
Okay, that's all on Sophia. Okay.
And the deceiver. Should we be trusting this woman?
It's just a stat sheet that most aligns with her abilities. You meander for around 15 minutes, going in more cracked and confined spaces, getting further and further from the bustle of this bazaar. You seem to be heading past like strange alcoves that people call home, outbuildings and shacks that have been scantily built by whatever supplies are here. And there's a small little crag, almost like a den. And she gestures. She crawls in on her hands and feet, and she's a gnome, so it's a fine for her. But if you guys want to crawl inside, and it literally is like a small circle, cracked hole in what was once like a sewer, maybe, or a cistern. And there's rugs, there's fur, there's a candlelight burning, and do you guys all crawl into it? It's like one way in, one way out.
Yeah.
Okay. You crawl in.
Yeah.
And she bolts the front door, like puts up a piece of wood and like fixes a wedge of a piece of iron, like a raw piece of iron to it to wedge it shut from the inside. And your dark visions like all kick in, and she pulls her head back. And 2 seconds. Sorry. And she says to you, why are you in this city? As I said to your friend, the gnome brethren, I have people like us, learned. It's scary here. Sophia speaks to her. We didn't really have a choice. We were mystically teleported to this plane, and this was the only safe spot we saw on our scans of the horizon, better than going through the mountains. The gnome nods. Yes, I suppose that is a better option.
Well, why are you here? How did you come to be here?
I came here to try and learn many things, and I've learned many things, but not all information is relevant to this conversation. I needed to get away from the Concord. Yes. She kind of like stumbles over her words and kind of gets lost and looks at like a tea kettle that's like heavily banged up, like does look Concord made. And she rubs a piece of flint together and lights it and gets some water on a water skin and puts some into it to make a cup of tea.
It seems an odd place to come to study celestial theory.
Her eyes dart up at you. You're with the church. You're here to drag me back for blasphemy charges, aren't you? And the corners back up into the room and like pulls out a small little shaving knife.
I'm not here to take you anywhere. I can't even get myself out of this city safely. You are identifiable for a gnome. And there was some controversy when you left the Charthon Academy.
How do you know these things? It's coincidence is rare out here. I've been played.
Nobody is here to take you anywhere. I don't have any affiliation with anything else other than my own goals. No, I'm unarmed and unarmored.
Make a persuasion check.
Okay. Maybe like praying for at least anything above a 10 would be nice. I'm going to kill myself.
Oh my god, what's going on?
This is brutal.
This is fucking awful.
She looks at the ground, like at the tea boiling. I should have known better. People speaking Southern Immune in the city. I was like a moth to a flame. This was so stupid. And
Whoa. Don't forget, you came to us. We weren't looking for you.
I understand that coincidence seems rare, but that is truly what has happened here. We had no intention of being brought to this region. It was an unfortunate accident, which I don't think anyone could have predicted. But we truly are here only to find means of leaving. We had hoped to find a manner better than just risking the mountains.
make a persuasion check, Leonard.
Can you get advantage because I kind of helped?
Oh,
No, you got a 14. And that's just something
Damn.
you want to try, Willie.
Well, my premise was kind of like you approached us.
You roll persuasion check then.
Yeah, okay, fair.
Can I, before he rolls,
Yeah.
can I just help by saying that, do you also think that, firstly, the authorities here would allow anyone to just come in to get someone for blasphemy charges, and two, that they would risk us, all of us, to come here to pick you up for blasphemy charges?
Roll.
Do you want to roll instead of me?
Persuasion
Because
check.
that was a bit more persuasive.
Yeah,
Than...
you roll persuasion check with advantage because I think that's a bit more of a solid argument than Orly's. 15.
15.
Okay. The small head shaving knife that slowly goes down and looks, realizing she's totally cornered and has nothing to gain by being hostile or reactionary. This deep breath comes out of her mouth and she drops the little implement and clatters to the middle of the room. Just stares at you guys. Sophia, well, you were saying things about the city and why it's dangerous. Care to explain why? Yes. The Queen of Flesh and Blood. She has a circle of shamans. That's what they call them here. We would know them as druids in our lands. And she has control of the city. She lives at the highest, most intact level of what remains of this place. And her circle, with some warriors who mark themselves loyal to the Scarlet Circle, have that ring of flesh, of scars, and they're loyal to her. Many people here love the Queen. It's not just all smoke up one's ass from a pipe. She performs a lot of good deeds for people, such as the fountain.
it seems as though not everyone equally. What we saw at the front gate, it is not a manner of that everyone is treated well.
I don't know what you're referring to, but it is true that women here are seen as greater. The people in this land, they respect flesh and blood more than anything. The material, the usefulness of it, and things, women that can give birth to such creatures are more valuable here. Any female of any species is more valuable here in the city.
What do they barter with? Not trading. They seem repulsed by gold.
Shards. There's two qualities, yellow and white. They are easy to come by if you spend enough time here. And she reaches for a back pocket and you see her pull out a couple handful of these yellowish small little bone shards, and then a single white one, which is like a bleached white. They trade in these. The Queen has a ceremony would put too much of a spin on it. They dump great barrels of the stuff onto the city streets below, and people get riches. It's a difficult trading system to understand. It is hard to compare it to a gold value as we would know it, but the easiest way to get some is to trade gems with the gem barons.
And are you here because you do not want to leave, or is there no way out of the city?
There's way out. It's just I don't know if any I'd survive.
Shipping, outside trade. Do they deal with this?
Only the barons deal with the outside world. The Queen wants no part in it.
Do you want to come with us?
No. My
If you're
work isn't
trapped here.
finished.
Okay.
What is your word?
Thanks for that. Looks at you. It's not important, this conversation. What you need shards to get to the higher levels of the city. The lower parts, the first level, the scabbed, the scabbed, as it's known in this tongue, where it's a clot filled with the worst of the worst. Sometimes people are so desperate they go to the circle for shards directly by the Queen. They are given them, but only if they donate themselves to the Scarlet. Some don't come back the same, and then they go mad and are thrown into the lowest level to fight amongst themselves.
But they have shards.
There's a lot of shards in the lower part of the city, but it is dangerous. The people down there, some who are capable of using weapons live down there in hopes that they'll collect enough shards to pay for one of the elevators to rise up to the second level, and then the third, maybe even the fourth, and be granted a chance to join the Scarlet Circle. But there's strange changes in the people down there. I've never been to the first level of the city.
What about thievery? Taking other people's shards?
Oh, it is the most common way to get it.
I'm sorry, we didn't catch your name, did we?
Oh,
Maximiliano, is it not?
yes, Professor Branco.
I see that my reputation has followed my appearance. I should have done more with my face to scar it up.
Sorry, DM. Can I roll a history check to see if I recognize that at all?
Sure, yeah, roll a history check. 5.
Never mind.
No.
The fuck is happening?
Some of us know something you don't know.
You guys been making deals or something under the table with like the D&D?
No, I mean, I already found your
Yes,
child.
it's a
There are other.
it's an under the table deal. We don't talk about it.
This would be the shittiest monkey paw ever. I'd rather have a roll above a 10 than know her name.
So what's her name? Maximilia, is it?
Maximiliano
Branco, yeah.
Maximiliano.
Ex-professor of the Charthorn Academy.
Yeah.
Terribly disgraced.
Was not from what I recall, was not her theories and her ideas were not popular at that camp.
Is it possible? Sorry, where we are right now, it's
Yeah.
a 4-walled area.
It's a small little circle of the earth with a single entrance in it.
Can we possibly rest here for the night? Would you be okay with us using this as sanctuary for at least the first night that we have to spend here?
As long as you don't report me to anyone when you get back to the Concord lands, I'll keep that promise. A blood promise, as it's known in this land.
I'm going to be completely blunt and frank with you. I do not care about you. Right now, we are in a very, very dangerous position. If we make it back to the Concord, I'm sure I will have forgotten you already by then. So you don't have to fear that from me, at least.
Snarky for a forest gnome.
It's
like
it's been a long day.
Yeah, it's been a long day for many people here. Looks at the group like, well, I will fill you in best I can, and you can stay here. But I don't want to come with you. I don't want to leave this place. I find it somewhat homely after a time.
Well, I appreciate
visibly looks around the room.
Yeah. How big is this room? Like, are we all like very cramped in here?
You're cramped, like
okay.
on your
Yeah, that's kind of the impression I was getting. Where I'm like, there's going to be probably about a foot maybe between each of us.
For a gnome, it's like pretty comfortable. But for I'm Thoric and Laranok, it's pretty cramped.
The advantage is we're so packed together, you can just fall asleep standing up. You won't fall over.
Just think, one fireball, Ryan. One fireball.
I didn't even realize what time of day is it, or do we even know?
It's getting late now, I think, wasn't it?
Last you saw it, the sun was starting to set over the peaks of the mountains.
Oh, that's right.
City, so it's pretty dark outside. It's torchlight, dim light now.
Okay, it's probably safe if we do use this for now, at least, and get a long rest in. And then we need to work on shards. Even if it's only a few, because I don't think we're going to be getting information without shards either. I don't think information's freely going to be given to us, especially how we look. Also, how we look. I don't know if we can do anything to make ourselves look worse or more relatable, but maybe that's an avenue that we can think about whilst we're resting.
Sophia says, I can change one of you for an hour to look like what you need to. Change into a woman if you wanted to carry a weapon.
We're going to have the ability to at least speak with their language after we rest. So whoever is going to be doing the speaking, you could probably change their appearance, and that might be a little bit more favorable to us.
So we would need to be careful about the time limit, though. Would not do to change back mid-conversation. I imagine that would not be looked upon well.
What are you trying? So you want to leave the city, correct?
Yes.
We wish to return to Concord Lands.
We need the fastest way home.
Short term, we needed sanctuary for now. After tonight, tomorrow, if we can leave, we should leave.
She thinks and mulls it over. Well, you're not of a level yet that the Queen would be entertaining your audience. She's obviously the biggest one here. But the Gem Barons, they're who mercenaries and travelers seek. I think the twins, they have a mage. And the other Gem Baron will. He has some relationship with a genie, some distance outside the city.
Oh, well, then we need to acquire enough shards to get ourselves up to talk to these gem barons there.
Yes, you'll need about 5 white shards, and I'll tell you the equivalent in yellow, and I'll need to see what I've got. I can't loan you much, but I could start you in some of the way. If you have gems, you can pay with those as well to get access up the elevator.
Do we have gems?
We had gems at one point.
And with
when they're gems in the treasure hall or something. Yeah, I've got some.
I'm going to take a 10-minute break because I'm
sure.
going then.
Sounds good. I'll be back.
I'm also going to go make dinner.
All right, so you are still in this cove, this gnomish cove, where you're all basically bundled up together, shoulder to shoulder. And yeah, what are people thinking? What are they thinking about?
I'm probably getting some sleep.
You want a long
I'm trying
rest?
to not be mad at Orly.
I feel really vulnerable without my armor or weapon or shield.
Yeah.
Mm. All right. Okay. You guys want a long rest?
Yep.
What's Maximiliana doing? Is she just going to sleep, or
She's made her tea, and she's got a little like slightly raised bit where a bedroll fur is, and she kind of hops up into there.
well, fine. If she's going to sleep, then we're not sleeping ladder.
Okay.
At some point, then I want to have a chat with her. But
Yeah. Okay. You all drift off to sleep. You hear the sounds of the bazaar that you're far away from now slowly die and die down. There is strange voices and accents and just linguists out and around. You hear feet shuffle past this little alcove door. One by one, each of you awake the next day, long resting. You all can click the long rest button and rejuvenate your spells and hit points and what have you.
Hallelujah. Okay.
Nice.
Wait, how do I have add spell, but I don't have like spell list. I'll do it manually.
You're getting tongues or what the fuck it's called?
Yeah, but I thought there was like an automatic way to do it to like unready spells and stuff like that. Okay. How many spells? I can have 10. Okay, right. To drop something. How many spells I have?
I think we wanted message as well, was it? Or sorry, I'm sending.
It's sending, yeah.
Yes. All I remember
I
is
think I
one
had
cantrip.
sending. I've got sending, but I had sending prepared anyway. So
Okay.
get rid of. I get rid of pre-revealing because it takes ages. Okay, I am ready.
Okay. You'll bundle out of your bedrolls in this small little cavern, and you guys haven't slept this close together before. Some of you have had to have your elbows in awkward ways, not to basically lay on top of your companions and things like that. And when the door is cracked open to release some scent of fresh air into the room, it's a welcome. It's welcomed. The woman, the gnomish woman, she is actually sitting out front, and she is smoking this kind of dual tapered end pipe. For one side seems to be like one type of smoke coming out of it, and the other side is another type of smoke. She seems to be mixing the two, like lighting them at the same time and smoking it, and it gives.
I am interested.
Gives this kind of soft, crackly, like firework on one pipe, and then the other pipe is in this low, mossy burn.
I join her.
Okay, really, what do you do? She
I
walks
take my pipe out.
Yeah. She
I
looks
light
at
it.
you. I suppose that's still trendy in the Concord. That's good to know. I was worried that the health systems of Arias would outlaw it, but
There's health systems?
In the capital, there are stringent laws of decorum, and one of the arguments for a time was that the smoke from our pipes can harm others around us, but when you've got healing that you can lay a hand on someone, I didn't think it actually mattered that much.
It's a strong argument. Your apparatus, your pipe, it's curious.
I needed something to remember the Concord by, and I had little savings, but what I had I spent in Oakheart at a fine establishment there to have this. And like you look at it, it's like actually like crystal encrusted. At times, it's like it's wooden, but it's got like rings of crystal on certain parts of it, and most of the locals here they prefer stronger stuff. So this pipe actually doesn't arouse too much attention.
Understood.
It's rare to see a forest gnome so far in a desert.
Not my preferred environment. I'll give you that.
No.
It's actually partly my fault that we ended up here. I don't have an appreciation to the arcane arts as much as the rest of my party do, and because of that, I was not too careful when touching foreign arcane object. So here we are.
An unfortunate accident, but at least you didn't fall on one of the 5 peaks.
Ha! Right. That would have been bad.
Yes, I think all of you would have been melted within seconds. It's a nomenclature here. Better to die on the sand than burn in the peaks. I think people here think dying in fire means your soul is trapped. But that's just some of the people here, what they believe. Others hold stronger ideas about fire and creatures that come from it.
How can you live here?
I have work to do. Things I need to learn.
Is your work that important that you subject yourself to a city like this? No offense. I don't mean to offend. I'm genuinely curious.
It's a long story, but what I needed to see can't be seen anywhere in the Concord lands, at least not the version of it. I needed to go to the worst places in the world to see what I needed to learn. And the city of Spines, well, it was the closest. I've still got a couple centuries left. I might move on to maybe go north, go further east. I'm trying to piece things together.
If you don't mind me asking, and it seems like a ridiculous question considering where we are, but would you consider yourself a good person? Not to society, but just in general.
I've never heard anyone, if that's what you're asking. I'm not a warrior. I've never been experienced with divine channeling. I'm a scholar. And maybe if words on a page hurt some people, then yes, maybe I'm a bad person for that. But in my view, I did little more than have an idea, a theory. And
Well, if anything, you helped us. So, and trust me when I say we extremely appreciate it. This is completely foreign lands to us, and we very bluntly were shown how dangerous it is from the get-go. So, thanks.
It's okay. I had a much safer journey here. I came a couple decades ago on a ship. There's a bay. I can't remember the exact translation of the name. Promise Port is what it was named.
Surprised it wasn't called Port of Spines, but anyways.
It's nothing connected with the city. It was actually a Concord trading outpost, if you would believe it.
Here in Calamarsha?
Yes.
Are dealings still ongoing at this port? The relations with Calamarsha and the Concord, trade-wise?
Shakes her head and lights the pipe again, takes another inhale, breathes out. No, it was overrun half a decade ago by creatures. But if rumors are to be believed, and foreign army has taken occupation over it. I hear people speak in the bazaar, and I was in the third quarter, the third level, some time ago, and I heard one of the Baron's men talk about it.
Do I
Strangers.
would I know about this? Do I remember now that we're talking about it?
Nope. You have no memory of this, no. It's all new.
There was some mention of like the Concord was arming some factions or something.
Yeah, Sophia said something like that when her father was
Well,
still around.
okay.
But yes,
that was it. Sorry.
Orly, you wouldn't recall that.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be that there's still transport there, but
that's a long journey to on a whim, really, isn't it?
It took us 2 days of hard walking to get to the city from there. And that was a time ago when the city did more on its boundaries and outskirts. The decades I've spent here, the city's become more focused on itself.
Can I call you Max?
Sure.
Max, what would you suggest we do to expedite our process of leaving this city today?
It's the pipe down, looks, and maybe best if I talk to all of you at once. Crawls back into the hole. Your friend Orly, addressing all of you now, he said what I thought is best for you guys to leave swiftly. I don't know a lot of current events. I just know the long-standing rule of law here, if there even is such a thing. If you're looking to leave quickly, well, the Barons, the Gem Barons are the best. They have contacts outside of the city. They know things, they keep up. They are the middleman between common people like us and the Queen, even though they don't really get along very much.
With each other or with the Queen?
The Barons have a tit-for-tat relationship. They have small armies in amongst themselves, but they reside within the third level, the split.
And where we are now, is this the second level?
This is the Everblue Bazaar. Third is the Stone Split, where you'll find the Gem Barons, and more trading options that actually are probably substantial to you and your troop. And then above that is the Bone Spike Cliffs, where the Scarlet Circle trains and does whatever they do in the Queen's behalf. And then finally is the Unbroken Palace, the I think it's the most intact building left within the city, where the Queen calls home and rules from.
I do not think it would be wise for us to try and get the Queen's attention in this.
No.
From what you said, the Queen seems isolationist, seems very insular for the city. Was that the case?
It wasn't when I first came here, but maybe I don't have a memory as I used to. I used to keep a journal, but some time ago, at least over a decade ago, the tribes to the west of here had mostly good dealings with the city. They traveled for many miles and days to come here and trade bones and flesh, and raided things that they took off other tribes, they started to drift away from the city's influence, and they just started appearing less and less. And then as for the eastern tribes, well, there's not much of them left. I think the Great Horde is what they call themselves, an amassed of some 50 tribes that were driven off their lands. The city of Spines sits in the middle between tribals who want to go west and leave, and eastern tribes have nowhere else to go but end up in the city.
The Concord, I might be having issues with some of those western tribes. They have been crossing the mountains and raiding and attacking settlements in Concord lands as of late.
That is shocking. I didn't expect anything like that. I thought they were going north or something. I didn't think that they had the goal to go into...
Can I inside check that? I'm so sorry.
Sure, yeah.
I go.
13. Seems to be new information for her, and she's reacting to it.
I go.
It's probably best if your friend, Sophia, she nods, does most of the speaking. They'll respect a woman's words more than any man. Sophia gets a look at the ceiling. Great.
I know it is. It's not your forte, but you can make a speaker of you yet.
Well, I better get writing my lines. And she kind of goes to pull on her satchel and make sure all her daggers are in place. All these things. The gnomish lady. Yeah, go ahead.
Max, I'm curious if there's any remnants left of any kind of thief organizations, guilds, or affiliations within this city. I've had previous dealings in the past, and I'm just curious to know if you know of anything of the sorts.
Well, that is you're referring to the Severance. There was a smuggler group that both of the gemstone barons used, and it was bringing in luxuries, and people were starting to use coinage in the city. Well, the Queen didn't like that very much. She sent out the circle. Anyone found with any coinage in the persons was skinned and thrown in the scabed, or used whatever the circle wanted them for. And those smugglers, well, they all had their heads removed as a warning. And since then, the gem barons have been slowly reconstituting their loyalty to the Queen.
So what you're saying is hide our coins.
It's bad luck to have coinage in this city. People only trust shards because it's what the Queen says is to be trusted. But you can buy gems from the gem barons, and that's what you need to activate the elevators. Although, don't expect to get to the 4th or the palace level without very good reason, or be thrown off the elevator itself and plunge back to the earth.
You said thievery is and maybe not acceptable, but probably one of the most efficient ways of gaining shards.
Yeah.
What's the punishment for being caught? Is it just chaotic? You deal with the people who caught you?
Well, the circle doesn't enforce any rules against thievery, but if you steal from someone who's got a serious amount, well, they might take it upon themselves to get them back. But if you do steal from someone who is a friend of the Queen, then the Scarlet Circle has been known to intervene.
And Friends of the Queen would typically bear the mark.
Yes. The Gem Barons, they've got difficulty between there's the twins, and then there's, well, he's strange, the other one. As I said, there's a lot of stories about him. Cursed, some people say, is. Others think it's proof that he is lucky. His skin is golden. His eyes like that of raw, flowing, molten gold. I've not seen him personally, but that's what people say about him.
Unique.
Yes. The Queen is more favors dealing with him more so than the twins. They're erratic, violent.
And there's nobody else friendly to the Concord in this city?
I think you have to ask yourself a question. Why would the Concord be here? I think the only ones that have really dealt with our homeland would be the remnants of the Great Horde, these eastern tribes, who I think some of them hold Concord weapons, swords even, pole arms, shields made from our foundries.
Swords have not been significantly manufactured in quite a number of years.
I
But
think
also
it's
said if it was
hand-me-downs, leftover remnants from the old wars with Teoland.
Oh, that does somewhat remind me. He's going to hand over to Thoric, like the maps and the notes. I'm not familiar with this language, but I understand you are quite gifted with understanding the languages when they are written down.
It's one of the few things I've managed to retain from previous education.
Also, he's not like trying. Yeah, he's not trying to like keep this hidden or anything like that. So if she's going to look, then fair play. It's like
she looks at it.
Being very open about it.
Yeah, she looks like this. I don't recognize it. I don't know the language.
Just need to give me a few minutes, and I'll be able to read it. Thoric just starts the ritual process for comprehend languages.
Okay. Max says to the party, "Our option's getting out. Best bets are the Barons, but unless you've got hard gemstone currency or a lot of shards, you're going to have to do something for them to pay them for whatever services they might provide you. If this town runs on favors when shards don't meet the cost." Rubs her eyebrow and kind of flicks a piece of dirt out of her eye. Okay, so you want to ritually cast Comprehend Languages?
Yes, please.
Okay. Is anyone else doing anything while this is happening?
I think I'll just be speaking with Maximiliano.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What do you talk to her about?
You said you're here studying for your theories and things. Last I heard, you mentioned something about a cosmic balance. The idea that gifts given in our homeland, it has to be balanced out somewhere in the world. Is that? Do you still believe that? Is that what you're pursuing here?
Chuckles. Well, yes, I'm surprised that I managed to put it so well to someone in my years when I was thrown out of the academy. What I've learned, forgive me, SMR, is that this place, this city of spines, there's been no apparitions of Azamar that I can tell in this city. And outside tribes, ones from the east, ones from the west, no apparition or birth of Azamar either. And you must think, well, what about the opposite? Those of birth who are touched by the lower planes of existence, the inferno and the abyss. And yet, what I find out is there's even few records of that as well. Instead, what I was theorizing was that there are just as many tieflings born in the Concord as there is Azamar. Balance.
You're saying that perhaps not one-to-one, but that for each Asimar born, it's also creating a tiefling. Also, that in the favoritism that we have been bestowed, it is also punishing those who had the misfortune of being born as a tiefling.
I do not believe that tieflings are born for punishment. That was one of the charges levied against me. That I was blasphemous about. I intended to say that the effect of the gods and their robustness, their institutions, and blessings of Azamar within our country, are they happening because we are so faithful? Because we have entire cities loyal to deities, we have holidays, festivals, churches. Well, our churches are institutions now in our culture. Whereas out here, there are very few missionaries or even temples dedicated to Vela, Tyr, Talos, Thesnir, Arias. And I wonder...
We were always taught that there were other gods in these regions outside of our pantheon.
There are other gods.
Not the case?
There are a few gods that are worshipped in these lands, although our clergy would classify them more as demons or devils, but to these people they are gods. My belief is because of this effort put into us, the gods, well, they don't look anywhere else except the Concord. I have asked a great many travelers where they could find symbols of Tyr or anything like that. Even the most base god, Arias, sunlight, sun goddess. The symbols are extremely rare outside of the Concord. It's not that we don't know that our gods are powerful, because they are. They seen off the most dangerous magocracy that this continent has ever seen. They helped us give us the armaments and the training to defeat against a second wave of mages of Tealand. But they don't share an ounce of faith for these people here who need it. Look at the city. It's not harmonious. It's not peaceful. It is different to everything that we believe. But our ideals teach us that where evil and darkness and death exist, God's light is present in all things. But after a great many years here, I can tell you that the God's presence in this city is non-existent. And there is something else. There are other powers filling the gaps.
Could it be that the God's presence here is so non-existent because the there's no worship of them here. There is nothing to draw their attention. Where in our homeland, there are, like you said, there are prayers, there are festivals, there are temples, and a myriad of things dedicated to them. Even the gods would naturally draw their attention to those places more than an area where no one calls for them.
Maybe. That's why I intend to keep going further east and adventure further to find symbols of our gods in other lands. It's not a ridiculous theory, but nigh is it nigh proved. I still have a lot of work to do. And by this point, your spell is complete, Thoric, and you can comprehend languages.
Well, I would like to comprehend this language then, please.
Make an intelligence check to understand the map.
Intelligence.
Ooh!
It seems to be written in some form of writing.
Do we just stop? do we just end like?
All right. You can understand the language, but what is clear is you're not a Silver Templar. You went into the Platinum Aegis, and I don't deem a 1 as a super critical failure, but there is a code to this. There's a military code to understanding the markings, the measurements, the legend, as it were. And even though you can read the letters and understand, all right, that's an A or that's a D, and there's a couple of numbers next to it, you don't know what that means.
Can I basically translate this map? You have a new piece of paper, just take a page or two from my own journal.
Yeah, you can get the letters. You can get things. You can translate it, but understanding.
I know. I don't understand it, but I'm like, okay, it's like finding a code, like a cipher code or whatever. I'm going, okay, well, I can turn A to B, but I can't interpret A or B.
It's more like acronyms rather than a cipher. It's more like shorthands.
Yeah. So
okay.
So I'd like to just translate it so that the others can have a look.
Sure. All right. Why doesn't someone else make me an intelligence check with Thoric? I'm not going to give an advantage because you. Yeah,
I don't know it. Yeah, I don't know it, so I can't assist.
But you can comprehend and tell them what it means.
I rolled last time. Trying to get a second chance at this. Now he's.
Now that it's comprehend languages, I'll give you a second chance. Just an intelligence check.
Okay, I'd like to cast enhance ability.
Probably less of to do with the language, but more. I don't know. We'll try and assist with because he has the military background, obviously.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
He'll have something. So it's really more case. Well, you're going to have the much better intelligence score than I am.
Okay.
Yeah, let's work together on this. Sure.
Yeah, Lyranok and Hendrik and Thoracle working over this. Sure. Roll me intelligence check then with advantage, please, Hendrik.
I'll do it. Intelligence.
Ooh, 20.
I don't need your help. I'm good.
Right.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have rolled it without my help, sir.
So the acronyms are military slang for. So you're able to find out it's a highly detailed map of the 5 peaks, of the coastline, up until just before the Slumbering Bluffs. There are mapped routes on it. There are routes from a region, from a road, a military supply line far east. Like the map kind of stretches out and goes far east, out of Kalmarsha. And there are markings of basically like distance covered in days, and there's a sum in it, and you can see that the cartographer is working on how long it's taken or would take like a light patrol, a full garrison to an army marching, and giving like ideas of mathematical sums of certain rivers and rocky plains and foothills and all this stuff as well, annotated. And that's one part of it. The other part is there are maybe a dozen separate scouting patrols, east, north, and south of the city of Spines, like out of the 5 peaks, like going north of the 5 peaks, going east of the 5 peaks, and going south of it. And this is one of 12 scouting patrols. They all have code names, but I'm not all going to get into that because that's a bit ridiculous. But the other thing you do see is there is a coastal port marked on it, and it's marked as shorthand, like base of operations. And what you can read within the lines of it, what's annotated there is General Blacklip's position. And
Does
then
that name ring a bell at all? I wouldn't know.
It's comprehended language, so it's translated from another language, so it could be to do with the translation.
Okay.
Or something, but no, it doesn't ring a bell. What's more notified, right, with the natural 20 is the mapping route from the east to the west. There's a mapped route right to basically the city of Spines, and it's a period of around it'd be annotated as ×2 10 day. So between ×2 to ×3 10 day ? For arrival. And that's what you get.
How old does this map look?
I mean, pretty fresh. Like it's been in like a waterproof, or not even waterproof, but like a weatherproof satchel, and it's been annotated very recently by some of the chalk on it, like days before.
Oh.
It's got weather monitoring on it, high winds, acid rain, and it talks about like treacherous ground. So it looks like this map, at least from the region that this one just outside of the city, this map is like annotated like a really, really good route for an approach to the city of Spines. From the east.
Okay. Yeah, I'll pass that information on to the party if they can make more sense of it than I can. But if this is new, then I mean, my gut tells me that this is invasion. Like they're scouting around the city.
That's what it seems like. Yes, it's the scouting party that we went into. They were surprised that we were able to speak their language, even if it was gifted with magic. It was not a language I've heard here either. Years ago, there were some kind of conflict with the Valetti Empire. Is that still going on?
Max, the Great Horde are the remnants of the Valetti after they razed their lands. The Orc tribes, the Knoll bands, other peoples have been forced from the land and sought shelter here in the city of Spines. A couple thousand, I think, that were left.
And when was this? Was this
All those been happening
years
for
ago?
years?
It's still okay. Well, if that's the case, then it's possible. Well, it certainly seems like we've become kind of invasion plans. If they're scouting out for different routes through the land, they definitely seem to have some manner of interest in this. This could be quite valuable to the right people. This could be a means of bargaining our way out, but it does run the risk of, if we are found with it on us, if we know what it is, then that could also cause trouble for us.
And they might just think we're a spy.
That is yes, that is also a possibility. But no. What did you said? The barons are trying to re-establish their favor with the queen. Was that it?
Something like that, yes.
If that is the case, if we were to get a meeting with one of these barons, and then we could potentially use this map, give that to them as our payment for the services. They then manage to get this to the queen. That could be a significant boon for them to reveal their enemies' potential plans.
We'd have to protect ourselves so they don't also turn us in as the spies they captured or some other nonsense.
We would, yes.
Your friend speaks very poignantly. I would think long and hard of which of the barons you choose to offer this to.
Well, unfortunately, regardless of anything we do, we will always carry risk.
Yeah, but that's not a reason to disregard not taking risk.
I'm not saying we disregard it, but
Okay.
I imagine that in order if they were to smuggle us back into Concord lands, that would not be something that is undertaken lightly. That is not something that will come cheap. And I'm just saying that what we have here could potentially, well, it is very potentially worth a great deal in terms of their favour to the Queen. I'm not saying we go running up to the barons now, but it is an option we potentially have.
Are we all present in this conversation?
Yeah,
Everybody is, yeah.
Okay. This is the most valuable tool that we have in our arsenal at the moment. If this is truly an updated invasion map, then it's probably one of the few things we have to barter with.
I'm hesitant to agree, but I agree.
We will see what other options we have, but it is, like I said, an option that is potentially available to us.
Well, let's get the obvious out of the way. We're not leaving here today.
No, I do not think so.
Mm.
No matter what, it will take time if we are to earn these shards in order to even get an audience. That will take some time at least.
Max says, do you have any gemstones that could be used as payment for one of the elevators?
Would it be one gemstone each or one for the group?
It has to suffice cost-wise for the shard to be used, but it's not individual. It's just activates the elevator. There's a guard on each of the both the elevators on both sides of the split. The rates are the same, but you would just need a gem that would be meaningfully enough to convert to shards once they hand it off to their baron.
I'll just take out one of the agate stones I have.
Yeah, how much is it worth?
20 gold.
Let me just check something here.
Actually, before you say that, let me just double check. Yeah.
20 gold?
20 gold.
Just looks at it. I think you need a bit more than that. That's probably the equivalent to 2 white shards. You would need 5 for your group.
Oh. At least we have a reference now, I guess.
And then he'll just... Okay. So then they'll take out 2 more and say, this then would be sufficient to at least activate the elevator.
Yes, it would. You at least get up to the split, but you'd have to have some, maybe more to trade or something, some good reasoning skills with the Baron's men to get an audience.
It might be worthwhile to have a balanced approach. We have
I do have
some
this.
gemstones, but
What do you pull out, Thork?
The pearl. Would this be worth anything?
How much is it worth?
100
GP wise.
gold.
Schnods. That could get you, Max, not. Could get you some meaningful supplies, but maybe a bit more.
Okay.
Maybe 10 shards worth. That is. 10 white shards. Hundreds of yellow shards, but you probably want to have just stuff valuable enough for white.
Mm.
So at this point, you hear a thump, 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 thump of drums in the distance through the bazaar. And Max turns her head up. Well, now might be your opportunity.
What do the drums significant? Okay. What do the drums mean?
You see, she looks back. Shards. It means shards.
Okay.
You'll follow after?
Absolutely.
Okay. You follow and go up to the bazaar, and you hear the doof, 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 doof of thick drums barreling and resonating through the entire canyon, and there's a whole crowd gathered around the fountain, gathered around the Grand Bazaar. And as the drums get louder and louder and echo, you see that there are just dozens and dozens and tens of scores of people just appearing. And they're kind of looking at the cracks, looking at the highest peaks of the city itself. And you hear a voice go, Ili, Konak! And point up towards a ridge. And the drums then stop as you just see hundreds and hundreds of small little pieces of bone poured off the side of a cliff.
Can I just
the
take
bazaar below
this moment to quickly snapshot people standing around looking to obviously get their fill?
Yeah.
Is there confidence wise, is there anyone that stands out? Meaning somebody looking very prepared and very confident and happy that they're going to do well.
Yeah, make a perception check.
Sure. Bear with. Oh my god.
There's a lot of people, and you're a gnome man, and there's people who are taller than you, and it's hard to see. Over the next 6 seconds around, the screams of jubilation of shout as the barrel is poured over, and in a second, a third barrel over this cliff then turns into fear and screams as people get out of the way, as if around a 50-foot square circle is just falling with sharp pointed pieces of bone, and it starts to hit people in the crowd. And you watch as people have pieces of bone fragment lodged in the back of their skull, through their eye sockets. And once the falling of the people getting hit from the bone shards, the screaming subsides, around 30 people are dead, not moving. And then there's a crush as everyone just rushes forward, picking up yellow bone shards, picking up pieces of bone out of people's skulls, ripping them out of their stomachs where they've been implanted from the weight, from the velocity. What do you do?
I want to say I was preparing for that as well, so I want to be with the first wave to kind of like jump in. I'm not going to be trying to use any kind of strength. I'm going to be trying to avoid people.
Yeah.
Okay, acrobatics, cool. Yeah, as much as I can, and I'm only looking for well, I'm going to be primarily looking for white shards.
Okay. Make an athletics check. Is anyone else doing anything?
Are there any
Acrobatics. Sorry,
civilians?
acrobatics.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Are there any civilians who have been hit by the bone shards but look like they are not yet dead?
Yes, there's probably 3 or 4 people, and they're basically being trampled on.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna try
As the
and
crush happens.
I'm going to try and pull them out so that I can try and heal
Yes,
them.
Thork is going to help pull people out.
Okay. Torkel, give me an athletics check, and then Thoric, give me an athletics check. Hendrik and Lernok, what are the two of you doing?
With that, but I think that they seem to be having it handled, perhaps.
I'm going to turn towards Lurnok and just say, remember when I said a land entirely populated by barbarians, their cities are definitely going to be absolute shitholes?
I said it was not something that we could not confirm. And it seems that the barbarian holes that we've been dealing with are different and not within the city itself.
The two of you are shoulder checked, and you instantly drop your whatever you're saying, and the man goes and pushes past the two of you, and then grabs a woman, picks her up, and pulls a white shard out of her throat, and her entire throat just opens and pulls a blood, and he just drops her on the ground.
Cool. Because then I'm really going to rush in to help her if she's like alive.
Okay.
Like he's going to do his best to help her.
Yeah. Okay. You're going to use an action for some healing points.
Yes. Depending on how bad it is, because I've got the first aid kit, which
You can use a first aid kit.
Yeah, I'll use the first aid kit because he doesn't want to draw too much attention at the moment, and
Okay.
divine powers might do that.
Yeah.
If it's
Alright.
and it gets like he's going to try first aid kit or something.
Okay, use a first aid kit. Torkel and Thoric, the two of you managed, especially Thoric, just charge in. You shoulder check someone, you hip check someone, and you just drag the person who has basically their lower leg is just covered in like white bone shards. Torkel, you reach forward, your dwarven stature, your strength, you just manhandle this young boy out of the way before his like head is basically crushed by a running ogre into the fray, who's like just sweeping people out the way. Orly, you dash in. Make a perception check for me, please.
Sure thing. Oh, please don't fuck me. Okay.
18. Okay. You look left and right and you see 2 white shards. One of them is on the ground. The other one is in the eye socket of a dead man with his mouth open agape and blood pouring out of the eye socket.
I'll prioritize the one on the ground.
Okay. You grab that one on the ground. All right. Lernok, your healing check. Give me a medicine check.
Okay. I think the first aid kit.
Does it just work?
Yeah, it just works.
Okay, then use the use of that. Anything you're doing now as you pull this woman back and you stem the bleeding on her throat?
No, he's just going to double check. He's not really going to have. I don't think opportunity to do too much really. So you have a look around if there's happens to be any shards directly nearby.
Make a perception check.
But okay, yeah. But it's very much he's focused on saving her as opposed to.
Sure. You see a dozen white bone shards in some of the injured around you, and in the woman's foot there's a yellow bone shard in the woman's bare ankle.
Okay, he'll just take that, and then he'll try and take.
He screams at the pain. She's pulled out.
Hang on. Well, can I even do that? Because I imagine it's not like I can go and then stem the bleeding on her ankle because I think I'm busy making sure she doesn't die from the throat.
I mean, she's stabilized.
If she's stabilized, then yes, he'll pull out the yellow bone shard, and then use a second first aid kit if I have, because they have 20 charges each, and I've got 2 of the fucking things.
So add a yellow bone shard to your inventory. Hendrik, are you doing anything during all this?
No. I'm standing aside.
Okay. Thoric and Torkel, the two of you have pulled your people out of the way, out of harm's way. What do the two of you do now?
Yeah, I'll cast. I don't know how badly hurt the boy is, but if he's in a state of pain, or if I think that he's losing life, I'm going to cantrip spare the dying.
Okay, very good. You cantrip spare the dying. The boy goes from sheepish, ragged, harsh breaths to more relaxed one as he kind of drifts into slumber.
How far away is Hendrik?
Hendrik is about 25 feet
20
behind you.
Yeah, there.
Okay, yeah. Torkel starts shouting. Don't just stand there, move them to somewhere safe, and then starts to is the boy on pull the boy towards him so that he can hand him over to Hendrik and then turn and go back in to see if he can get more people.
Okay, cool. You do that. Hendrik, a young boy, is laid at your feet, stabilized. Thorak, what are you doing?
I only have one healing word to use, so I suppose the people I'm starting to pull out, if one of them is almost dead, we're talking seconds away, I'll use.
Yeah, there's a person who has a spine, their spine has been deeply embedded with a yellow bone fragment, and they can use their arms to crawl, but their legs aren't working.
Okay, well, unfortunately, healing word doesn't heal paralysis.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. If he's not fully bleeding out, he can be pulled aside. Basically, it's only if someone's actively dying. If someone's paralyzed, unfortunate, Thor can't do anything about it, but he'll pull them out of danger. But only if someone's about to die, he'll use the healing word.
So you're pulling that guy's action using athletics check to pull him out the way?
Yeah.
Okay, do that then, please.
Wow, my rolls are fucking...
You get him out of the way. Basically, new turn of initiative. Thorik is pulled someone out the way. Learnok is healing this person, pull the yellow bone fragment out. Hendrik is still yet to decide what he's doing. Orly, you have just grabbed a white bone shard. Since you were the first to react, then you see it. You see about 6 people charge into the fray, wielding hand axes and small pointed blade daggers, and then they just start grabbing people who are dead or dying, or cutting people out of the way, picking up loose bone shards on the ground. A melee started to consume this 30-foot sphere of where people were. How do you react? What do you do?
It's time to go.
Yeah, it is now turning into a melee, and then another group is probably not far off getting in with weapons to cut people.
What I will say I will attempt to do is I am leaving. However, I want to keep an eye out to see if there's any other smart people like me who have also done well.
Yeah, make a perception check.
Sure.
You see Sophia. You see Sophia dart out, holding 3 cards in her left.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
Oh, she rolled a 29 on her fucking stealth check, and you rolled a fucking 20.
I knew that happened. So pretty much it was Sophia who's done well, and everyone else. I'm happy to get the fuck.
Yeah, all of you now see around 10 people on one side and another 10, 12 on the other side, of mixed races, mixed ages, wielding either handmade weapons or very old style hand axes or javelins, just fletched javelins, and a brawl, a melee, a fight for these riches started to break out. Does anyone want to get involved?
Only in the sense of if people go down and are abandoned by the rest of the melee and they're clearly hurt, I'm going to try and go in and heal them. Just spare the dying them so they stabilize.
Is that touch or range for you?
It's touch, I believe.
Okay.
So
pros the grave cleric
within 15 feet.
Okay,
I'm sorry. They changed that then.
Yeah. Okay, so you're going to stay at basically the edge of the melee and just spare the dying when people go down.
I'll move in closer, but I'm not going to try and fight my way to the center or even to the side of the melee to get to a person. But if the fight moves away and I see 1, 2, 3 people are lying on the ground and they're clearly seriously hurt, close to death, I'll just be hitting and spare the dying as much as I can.
Okay, just to make you clear, that's verbal and somatic, so people are clearly going to see you're casting spells.
Yeah,
just let you know. Okay. All right. So all of you watch Torkel stand at the peripheral edges. As people are injured and start to back off and retreat, some people fall and are knocked unconscious, and he stabilizes them on both sides of the melee. Hendrik, what do you do?
I pick up the boy that was put on my feet, and I'm backing away, and I'm keeping an eye on all my companions, and I'm not going further than 50 feet away from them.
Make a perception check, please.
I'm standing back, and I'm watching
Yeah.
And I'm making sure that none of them get into terrible danger before I get involved.
Yeah.
Let's see. Perception.
Yes, please.
18.
18. You, with your new red eye, feel an invisible, strange force walk and creep through the gaps in this crowd and head straight towards Torkel and hover right behind them. You can only sense it because of your blind sight. There is a creature, a large swirling mass, which is these kind of almost like clip-clop forces of nature walk on the earth as it stands behind Torkel as he casts all these spells.
Okay. If I fuck, what's the thing? Hold on, sorry. Give me a second. If I subtle spell, that's still like fuck, where are my spells? Sorry, I'm trying to navigate this damn character sheet.
That's fine. Yeah.
Guiding bolt.
Yeah.
It would still be evident that it came from me, though, wouldn't it?
Subtle.
I mean, so I think they wouldn't notice you casting the spell, but you are still throwing a giant glowing ball at someone.
Okay, what about Sorcerous Burst?
I would say for a cantrip with your subtle spell, I'd let you get away with that, but not a full-blown spell.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, I will do Sorcerous Burst at this thing, and I will do... I didn't say what type of damage. Psychic. I'll do Psychic.
Okay, all right.
So,
Psychic
24 to
bolt.
hit.
Yeah, 24 to hit, yeah. And is that 5 damage there?
No, it should have added more onto that. One second.
Is it your charisma bonus to damage, is it?
You managed to roll a 0 on a 2d8. I'm impressed.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make any sense. How the fuck did that happen?
I don't know. Just reroll 2d8.
Hold on. Okay.
8, okay. 8 points of damage, so whatever invisible creature. When you hit it, it does not appear, but you've clearly felt your spell impact an invisible creature as it recoils and moves on the ground, reacting to this hit, but it doesn't seem to lash out. Orly, what do you do?
Have I gotten out of the circle?
You got out of the circle.
Do I see everyone in the party?
You see everyone in your party, including Sophia, who is like another 20 feet back east, like close to Hendrik.
Okay. Everyone's kind of like breaking away from this, apart from Torkel, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And I can see that Torkel's casting spells.
Yeah, he's sparing people. He's probably done 2 now by this point.
Okay, I'll run over to him and kind of place my hand onto his elbow or shoulder rather, and I'll say, "This is not the place. We need to adapt. We should go back." I'm saying this after what I've just witnessed and gotten out of.
Yeah.
So a little bit of terror and fear in my voice as well. And then I leave. I don't wait for him.
Okay. We'll go to Torkel and then Lyrnok. Sorry, we'll go to Thoric, Lyrnok, then Torkel. So Thoric, what do you do?
How constant is the stream of people needing to be dragged out?
It's less so now because, these people look like experienced fighters, so it's maybe like one person going in around, but some of their allies are dragging them away or helping them get away as they're fighting off whoever has wounded them.
Okay. Sorry, can you remind me what Lyrnok's doing?
Lyrnok, what are you doing?
So,
there you go.
yeah, no, So is the woman like stabilized now, or
Yes, she's stabilized. Yeah.
okay? He's just going to be doing this, I guess, similar thing to Torkel. He's just going to be hovering around a little bit, like around the outskirts, and he's just going to be doing it with a first aid kit, seeing if there's anyone that needs needs desperate help or anything like that. He'll run in and like use a first aid kit on them, but he's not necessarily going to get stuck into the brawl because that is just risky and it drags attention on.
Yeah. Okay.
Meanwhile,
so that's what he's doing.
Thoric is going to keep an eye out if there's like one big guy fighting with a big guy, like that's whatever. But if there's like one or two big guys beating up a smaller guy or something, Thoric is gonna like drag the one that's obviously losing out. Like kind of thing of you're not the idea being that you're not cut out for this, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Kind of deal.
So next round, what happens is 10, 12 people charge on either side. About 4 of them are down on either side. 1 of them dead on both sides. A couple of them saved now because Torkel. Torkel, it seems like when someone goes down here, they gang up on them and just both put their weapons into their throats, into their heads, into their stomachs to finish them off. It is a no-holds-barred fight to the death. And while this is happening, the crowd, which went from screaming of excitement to the dumping of the shards, to then screaming of fear of being caught in the shards, is now cheering on the melee. There's chants, there's clapping, there's whipping, there's yipping. There is just carnage of just noise, and there's like a kind of a tug pull to the crowd of people trying to get forward to maybe get loose shards, and other people trying to watch the melee and cheering them on. There's about another 7 combatants on both sides, and Hendrik, that invisible force, stays behind Torkel. Torkel, what do you do? Sean, you there? Oh no, am I
Sorry,
gone?
my mic was muted. So the people that have been using Spare the Dying on are just getting stomped in anyway. So they hit the ground, I do Spare the Dying, and then they just get stabbed.
Two of the people you spared the dying on are okay, but anyone else who's gone down in this round has been slain. Finished off. So you've saved 2 people, which is the most you can do with your casts.
And there are 7 people in each, so 40 people total still fighting.
Yeah, 14 combatants, yeah.
Yeah, Torkel starts to back away towards Hendrik and the boy that he left there.
Okay. All right. Reacting to Torkel, Lernok, what do you do?
Seeing as he's backing off, he's somewhat going to match them, but he's basically going to be between them and him and the melee, so he's still closer to it, and it's just going to be opportunistic saving at this point. Like, if someone goes down in the scrum, in the melee, that's unfortunately kind of like that's what they can do. But if there's like civilians or other people that's still around that need help in any way, like even if it's like the lesser ones now, like not necessarily life threatening, but still, holy shit, that's going to like cripple them. Then he'll just make his way up in terms of the priorities of people that need help.
Okay, make a medicine check for me, please, to see if you can help on that person.
Sure.
Thoric, these people are all pretty equally matched in. It's just wild ferocity in this melee. There's no tactics. It's just brute strength, speed, agility, throwing blades, swinging mauls at each other, swinging cudgels, and pieces of bone fragment. You do manage to help someone who's about to get their head crushed by the ogre walking over him. Lernok, you pull him out the way. Thoric, you seem to be the last one at the kind of edges of this melee, and with your battle sense as a bulwark fighter of Bahamut, you probably get the sense that this is still very 50-50, and this is no prisoners. They kill each other. So you've got a choice to make. You either stay here and get involved, or you feel like whatever press is going to happen when the melee is resolved, there's going to be another press of civilians running in to grab shards that haven't been claimed yet. If you don't get out now, you're going to be caught into that.
Thor's gonna stay in it.
Okay. Hendrik, any turn? Anything you want to do with pulling the boy back? You're probably up the furthest back now with Sophia beside you.
So I the thing that's behind, I think it's Orly.
Oracle.
Oracle, thank you. Torkel. I hit it, I poked it, and it didn't seem to react much.
It doesn't. It seemed to get hit, but because you were hidden and you subtle spelled it, it didn't seem to really know where to go.
It looked around. Okay, gotcha. Now I can sense that it's an invisible creature. I can't tell what it is.
No.
Its
dimensions. Make an Arcana check for me, please.
Okay.
Because you would kind of get a sense for this with blind sense, and you are proficient in Arcana. 15. You recognize it's some type of invisible elemental. It's got a swirling, like tornado, twisting pattern to keep it stationary and give it form.
Okay, so it's safe to say a whole person does not work on them.
No, it's not a person.
Okay, and it didn't. Concentration was an issue when I hit it. Then.
No.
Is it doing anything, or is it just like standing behind Torkel?
It seems to be hovering over Torkel, like hovering behind him. And now that he's backing up, it seems to be kind of staying where it is and letting Torkel like move around it. Like now that he's backing up and is not being involved, it's kind of staying where it was as he backs up.
Okay. Yeah, as long as it doesn't attack Torkel or anyone. Yeah, I'll just watch it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Let me. What the fuck would I got 15. What would I know any connection with wind elementals and just gore and slaughter?
There's no connection in that part, but what you could determine is it could be being controlled by someone.
Okay. Are wind elementals usually? They're not usually friendly. They're usually kind of just.
Wind elementals are incredibly temperamental and are usually violent when encountered. So the fact that this may be a wind elemental, that it's not just attacking everyone around it and going into the melee, means it might be being controlled. Highly likely it's being controlled.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all my questions.
No problem. I would say for most of the party, except for Thork, everyone's kind of out of the melee. Lernok, you felt you've done as much good as you could. Torkel, much and such the same. Thork, give me an athletics check to see if you're pulled into the push, or manage to, with your weight and size, don't get pulled into it. 23. Everyone rushes forward, and you're like a stone slab, like a pillar, and everyone just comes around you rather than taking you with them. And another 12 or so people rush in and start to grab shards, and the winning side for this kind of melee starts to, ward them off of weapons. They seem exhausted. They seem like they have killed people. They have taken hits themselves. They are cut. They are injured. And now it seems to be more the scraps getting picked up. There's still wealth and riches to be taken, but there's that many people around that it's going to be a hard check to get in there and spot something of value. And is there anything, I guess I'll give Thork the floor. Any last check you want to do watching all this happen?
No, I'm doing what I can to keep people out of it. Right now the wealth is important because it's to the overall goal of us getting home. But I don't think Thork is willing to trade people's lives for that wealth.
You would have to start hitting people to get shards. You would have to start really barreling through people. So that's clear to Thork. These people, this is their life. This is a great fortune to them. What you can see for most of the party is as Thork, I guess, decides to pull back to the party.
Yeah.
Okay. Max is like, her hood is like down, and she's like gesturing, like, come on. And Sophia's like, come on, let's get out of here. Let's get the fuck out of here.
I want to, can I make a stealth check?
Sure.
Obviously not in the open, but.
Yeah, it's a massive crowd. Yeah. What are you stealthing towards?
Towards the walls, if there's any kind of maybe crates or parts of bazaar or a stall maybe that I can kind of just get behind. I'm looking to only do this momentarily, at least.
Okay. And what's your goal of stealthing? What are you trying to hide from?
I want to hide from. I don't need to hide from the party, but I just want to hide from any other prying eyes. My goal is to have to be hidden so that I can clearly look around, so that nobody else can see me looking around. I'm trying to spot anybody who's done really well and where they're kind of heading.
Make a perception check for me, please.
Sure.
Just in the vein of that as well, in case it changes his perception check, Torkel wants to scan the area to identify any individual who did particularly well whilst being violent and follow them, like track where they go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, make a perception check as well, please, Torkel.
Okay.
Would I be able? Are you trying to hide that, Sean?
No, well, he's not. He doesn't want to be so obvious to the person he's trying to look at, but he is trying to find someone to look like.
Yeah. So I'd see that you're
he's
kind of doing
annoyed.
the same thing as me.
You are, but Orly, you have already rolled your check, so let's let Torkel roll his check.
Yeah.
21. There we go. So the two of you spot
Finally.
two separate people.
Yeah.
Orly, you spot a woman who feigned injury and is like running with kind of this small like little leather strap bag and like is like running through the crowd, and she's probably got some wealth there. She's maybe she's not moving as fast as you. There's no way she would move as fast as you as a rogue. And she's leaving the crowd, going the same direction as you guys. Torkel, one of the guys at the end of the melee, I say guys, it's a woman, is a tall, half giant, desert, olive skinned, well, actually, like more sandy colored woman who had this massive like ligament of bone that she was bashing people's heads in, and she's like, what she's kind of done is there was a body which has been hit by half a dozen shards and killed, and she's just dragging the body away from it with a big red smear and just dragging it with her to a corner to like basically take the piece of value out of him.
No, I'm gonna follow up to where she's pulling that person in.
Okay. Orly, are you making it known to the party you're going to follow that woman?
No, I don't say anything.
Okay. Torkel, are you doing the same for your side? Or are you going to tell the party you're going to let's go check this woman out?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So who goes with Torkel and with him to help?
I'll go with Torkel.
Okay, Thoric.
I'm keeping an eye
Yeah.
on this elemental.
Okay. It seems to stay where it is, doesn't follow Torkel.
Yeah, I should.
Okay. Leonok, what are you doing?
I'm going to be sticking with Maximiliano and
Sophia?
Sophia. Like,
Okay.
he doesn't want to answer violence with violence in this instance.
Okay. All right. Okay. We'll start off with Torkel and Thoric. This woman she's a strong giant. Like she's a strong person. And she's dragged this body around 40 feet around a corner out of the melee. And and she's like using these guttural grunts, basically getting people out the way. And you see that there's actually a person who's been bonked. Bonked is putting it lightly, has had their jaw smashed, and they're like holding their jaws, like writhing in pain, as they probably didn't get the way fast enough for this woman. And
The body she's dragging is dead, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna keep following her.
Yeah, I mean, when do you want to corner? When do you want to confront her? Because like she's moving slower than you since she's dragging your body.
I want to see where she's dragging. Like, I want to. How long?
Okay.
Do you want this to go?
Yeah. All right, the two of you roll me stealth checks, please. Not a very high DC because she's focused on like getting away out.
Okay.
It's like 22 and a 15. Wow.
Nice.
Wow. That's a natural 20. There you go, Sean.
Hey.
Okay. The two of you follow her for around another 100 feet away from where the shards dropped, and she drags them into a very similar like alcove in that the woman took you in. It seems to be there's kind of this uniformity to it. It's similar in where Max took you guys, and she drags it into there, like tosses it in there, and then like rolls herself inside of it because she's a giant. She's quite big. She like crawls inside of it as well, and then slams some kind of catch closed on it. And while that happens, Orly, you're following the woman. You move much faster than her. What do you try to do to take her shards?
I want to at least tail her until we're not so in the public eye. So if like there's any alleys being taken, I'll make a move then. But until then, I'm tailing and
make a survival check.
Sure.
25. All right. You feel like after a course of around another 80, 100 feet, she goes. You're unmuted, Sean, by the way. There. I don't know if Sean. There we go. You move around another 80, 100 feet, and you follow this woman into a small little thin alcove. And there's a few people still moving against the flow, against where she's trying to go to. And you get a sense of like you feel like you can rub up past her and like grab it out of her hand.
I'll attempt it. Actually, before I do, how nimble does she appear? Quick glance.
She looks to be a gnoll of some kind, and she's got like long, hyena like limbs and things like that. And the fact that she looks unscathed, it makes sense that she's probably nimble enough or perceptive enough. Yeah, roll me a sleight of hand check, please.
Could I tell me no, but is it possible that I can roll stealth again and then attempt to sleight of hand, or would you not allow
that? No, you can follow her for a bit longer if you wanted.
I'd lose the opportunity if I did that.
You would lose up this current opportunity and have to find another one.
I'll just attempt sleight of hand.
Okay. Yeah, go for it.
I don't think I get advantage for anything with sleight. No, I don't. No. Don't fuck me. Yeah.
18. All right, I'm gonna roll.
It's 10. It's pretty good.
All right. Oh, not 1d20. You move past her in a blur of movement, and you snatch it out of her arms, and you like shoulder check her into the wall, and as she kind of discombobulates and hits the wall, and then kind of looks around, you've got her bag.
And you just straight 180. I'm going with the flow now.
Yeah. You just turn around, and she kind of has a snarl and look, and like foam pops out her mouth, and she looks around, and she grabs someone and starts shaking them like, what did you take it? Did you take it? And then like, look, no, I didn't. And and it starts an altercation in that alleyway, but you leave with that sound. Torkel and Thoric, that woman is barred into that room. What do you do?
So we were following her, and she approached the alcove, but before we could do anything, she just flung the body and herself in and locked the door.
Yes.
Okay. What do I have on hand?
Spells.
Yep. Just trying to figure out which one to use.
Druidcraft.
Druidcraft. What's the door made out of?
Wood.
Okay, I'd like to sacred flame the door.
Okay.
With the intent of setting it on fire.
It's radiant damage is sacred flame, isn't it?
Oh shit, is it? Yeah, it is. Bollocks. Then I will. That's also radiant damage.
You guys don't have weapons either.
I want to punch the door use Searing Smite.
Okay.
Because you can do that on an unarmed strike.
You can. You want to Searing Smite it?
I want to burn her house down.
That's funny.
I want to I want to punch the door.
Okay, you walk over to the small little like wooden platform, and you see him propel his elbow back, and he punches forward, and you see like the actual symbol of Kinos envelop all on his knuckles, and like his fire erupts from the point of his knuckles all the way down to his elbow, and he punches through it, and the door just bursts into flames and explodes. You hear a gasp from inside as the woman is like laid on her stomach, like prone, and she's like breathing deeply. She's clearly injured, and she looks up at you. The room is much and such the same as the one that Max had. It looks very cramped. What do? You see her in there.
I cast spiritual weapon. and
Okay.
a gallows appears like beside her.
She looks at it. All right, make an attack roll.
Oh no, I don't want to kill her right now.
Okay.
But I can't speak to her, can I? Because we don't speak the
No.
same language. Oh, yeah, I'm just going to speak at her.
Violence.
Yeah, I'm going to just speak at her.
Mhm.
What would they say? Yeah. He says, preying on the weak is only enjoyable so long as you do not become the weak.
She kind of
They look
lays on her
at her.
stomach and swings around and like holds the cudgel like ready to swing if you come in the room.
Yeah, and then he just he looks at the body. What age is the body of the man that's like, or the person that they've dragged in?
Looks like someone who's emaciated, young, maybe coming their 20s, and their head, their spine, and their arms are just covered in white shards.
Yeah. Okay, he says, I think this city has enough predators. We don't need one more. And then gets the spiritual weapon to attack.
Okay, make an attack roll.
Ooh, spiritual weapon. 18.
18 hits. Roll damage.
Oh, 5.
Whack! The gallows like kind of wraps around her neck and like chokes her for a second before she manages like a disillusion and dissipates and she drops to the ground. Thorek, what do you do?
First, just check or look around and see no one else coming up like behind us.
You look around and passive perception. You don't see anyone. Everyone seems to be heading more towards the actual melee, the remains.
Okay, then I guess I go in at her.
Okay. You go in. You crawl in. You're prone for a second. She takes an attack opportunity against you with advantage because you have to go prone to get in.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, 2d20 plus. I got a 17. Does that hit your armor class? I imagine it does.
I'm only armor class 10 without any of my stuff.
Okay, that's fine then. You take.
Cash.
Wow, I rolled max damage on that. You take 14 points of bludgeoning damage. As she smacks you with this club.
Okay.
Just wails you against your left shoulder blade, and like you feel like the reverb. And you're used to wearing armor getting hit. This is like being back in training again. It's not a nice feeling, and it's like a meaningful impact. That's her first attack. Her second attack. She misses.
Does she get multiple attacks with attack of opportunity?
No, she doesn't actually. You're right. So she wouldn't. Doesn't matter anyway. She missed. You're so correct. Okay, your turn now. What do you do? She's bloodied, by the way, so she's under half hit points.
I think just want to punch her, but like non-lethal. I don't want to kill her.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Make an attack roll then, unarmed. Oh, roll
okay,
again.
First
you
attack.
Get 2 attacks. Yeah.
15.
15 hits. Roll damage. 6. Whack. You punch her in the side of the temple, and her world is rocked for a second, and you see a single tooth like fall out of her jaw and pull a blood string along with it. And then she like looks annoyed. Torkel, your turn.
Yeah, he continues like monologuing to her. he's just so frustrated with what happened in the center, and thinks that everybody here's so stupid that these people could be living better if they came together. And he's just annoyed, and he's saying he's like, this person could have been something, could have done something, and you've taken that away for some monetary gain. My vengeance will burn. And he casts Guiding Bolt at her.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
I'm gonna third level this. Oh, 9.
Well, she's prone. Let me see if that gives advantage or disadvantage.
Disadvantage on a ranged attack, right?
Yeah, she's prone. So actually, yeah, that's the worst possible roll, my friend.
I'll have to roll again.
Yeah, see if you got a 1.
Yeah, see if I get less than a 9. But Leonok's a 9, so maybe it'll hit.
So I hope I don't get hit.
23.
Fuck off.
That's unfortunate.
All right, her turn. Her turn. She's prone, so she.
Oh no,
does
I've still got my bonus action. Sorry, so I have
Okay,
with
cool.
the
Yeah,
spiritual
bonker.
weapon, right?
Yeah, hanger. 17 hits.
17 for 11.
The gallows rips around her neck and lifts her up. She drops the weapon in her hand, and it grasps her with so much force. You hear a solid snap as she hangs there limp and falls on the ground. She dies.
Well,
Taco claws into the room, and I wasn't here for the session when we did like the shopping in the town, so I don't think that I did buy the diamonds that are required for Revivify. So he puts his hand on the dead man's desk. Just mutters a prayer to Kinos and something along the lines of if I had been more diligent, maybe I could have helped. I'm sorry. I hope that if you can see this, at least some vengeance has been taken and you can rest easy. I hope that you do not think any less of me if we take any of the items that are here. And then he looks around the room to see if she had any other bone shards in the room, or if it's just the guy who's riddled with them.
Make an investigation check, please.
Great.
If it's non-lethal, if you can choose that. I just thought spells are always lethal.
No, actually, I'll need to double check. I just realized I keep remembering old
Yeah,
rules,
yeah.
but how it used to be was how it used to be was any melee attack could be non-lethal.
Yeah.
Which spiritual weapon is. I now realize I do need to double check that. So I'm really sorry. I keep thinking
Torkel just kill him.
Yeah, Torkel would just kill him.
I was just thinking because it seemed like he killed her and then immediately went, "I'm sorry, I should have done more."
No, not to her body, to the guy's body, the guy who's dead, who's got like all the shards in him, the body of the dragon.
Yeah.
He could have cast Revivify probably on him if he'd been more diligent earlier.
I'm sorry then.
Looking what would you like to do?
Just looking it up, it seems that spells that inflict any kind of melee damage or melee attack can be done non-lethally. So I think technically spiritual weapon because it does a melee attack.
Yeah, it could be non-lethal.
I probably could have done it non-lethal, but that would defeat the purpose of this fucking rage being down the Torkel 7. So she's dead.
Right. Thoric, is there anything you want to do while he's looking around and looking with the body and saying this prayer?
Well, bumping my head against the wall.
Thoric is just gonna pat Torkel on the shoulder and is like, we did what we could, but we can't stay here too long. We have to get back to the others.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let us grab these godforsaken shards and move.
You're pulling them out of flesh.
Yeah.
I'm pulling them out of okay. You get 11 white shards. Ooh. And smaller, but still pretty disgustingly attached to this guy is 19 yellow shards, which are much smaller and thinner, like tiny little razor blades. So 11 white and 19 yellow.
Is the alcove a fire?
Is the alcove a fire? Do you want it to be on fire?
Yeah, as in is it connected to the other buildings? Is there more burnable? Actually, no. It's probably dangerous to have.
Stone. It's stone. So.
Oh, so just the internals. Yeah. Yeah, I think aren't pyres like a holy ritual here?
No. The woman Max said that they consider burning bodies.
Like that's traps their souls.
Oh yeah. Okay, sorry. No, then he doesn't do that because
let's not damn this person's soul to eternal hell, shall we?
Let's we've done enough. He's gonna leave.
but in your religion, in Valen religion, in the Concord of burning a body is the holiest thing to do.
I thought it was the holiest thing you could do, so I wanted to, but I don't want to bug. It's like 6.5 a dozen, right? Like one of them I
Yeah.
want to be consigned to hell, but the other one I don't, and the other one I want to be lifted up, and the other one I don't. So I'm just going to leave it. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to leave.
Okay. All right. Okay. Orly, for your shards, when you look into the bag in the little satchel, there's 6 white shards
No.
and 85 yellow shards.
Ooh.
Jeez.
Yeah. That lady did well.
I mean, she did.
She did.
No, she didn't.
Past tense.
Past tense being operative there.
With Orly managing to talk with Sophia and the party reconvening, not long after while this happens, Hendrik, the invisible creature floats off the ground and you can't sense anymore and it disappears. He's AFK, but anyway. The party reconvenes far away from where this disgusting travesty of violence.
Sorry,
and
I'm back. I was asking if the thing actually did anything the entire time it was down here.
No, it seemed to hover up behind Torkoal, and then when all the melee started and Torkoal disappeared and stopped casting spells, it just stayed there. And then after kind of nothing else happened for another couple of rounds, people fighting over it, it just floated up and disappeared.
Weird. Okay,
And sent
thank
it
you very
more.
much. I appreciate that.
The party reconvenes, I believe, not far away from Max's little alcove. You have salvaged some wealth. Max is breathing a bit deeply. She's an old gnome. Well, that's your first sight of the rain.
Aptly
It
named.
is horrific.
When you said they passed the shards out, I did not realize you meant like that.
It's too much work for them to lift them all the way down here through the elevators, so they just throw them over the sides.
It's not something I wish to ever view again. Why do the people not understand that if they could condense their efforts and distribute the shards equally?
Selflessness is a strange quality in these parts. It's myself and my ones that I care for, and kill any others which challenge that, I think, is an acronym in their tongue. A saying.
It is such an unpleasant view, but one that is unfortunately more common than would be liked. Where did you go off to after the
I stayed out
brawl?
of the way. I don't want to get caught in that. I'm not a fighter. I'm a writer.
Oh, no, I was sorry. I was talking to Torkoal.
Oh, sorry.
Torkoal, where did? Yeah, sorry. I probably should have made the clear. Torkoal, where did you go afterwards? I lost sight of you in the melee.
I followed a combatant after the end of the melee and relieved her of her ill-gotten shards.
You stole it. You stole it from them. Suppose.
I reacquired it.
We killed someone
What?
to get them. We tried to intervene before anything could happen.
You killed them for it.
I tried not to.
What was gained then from killing them? You've just answered death with more death. In the end,
I am not in the
nothing.
mood to bash about words and trying to protect your feelings, Liranok. I did what I did.
So then
because I
tell
felt
me
right.
something. How are you any different?
I didn't claim to be different. I just think that my way is the better way. Whether that's hypocritical or not, I do not care. Frankly, I don't give any damn at all. You can judge me however you want to judge me.
Thork just kind of
That's
shrugs
more
and walks away from
common
the two.
than should be liked.
In any event, we now have enough capital to potentially get out of here, I hope. When we pull it all together, how much do we have?
I believe you said that each of these gems was worth 2 white shards and we needed 5 white shards to get up, get up on to the next level. Seems that this should be more than sufficient to at least get us to the level above. Whether it'll be enough to draw the attention of a baron, I do not know.
Sophia empties what she stole. I managed to get 8 white and 3 of these little tiny yellow ones.
I got 6 white and a lot of yellow ones. I'll empty my bag as well. It's 6 white and 5 yellow.
I forgot how many. How many were on that body, Cameron? Sorry.
Let me just scroll up. Oh wait, no. Fuck. Where is it? There we go. 11 white and 19 yellow.
Okay. And so together we probably have. What was it? Close to 20. White.
I think
11
so.
plus 3 plus 6. Did you say?
Yeah.
11 plus 8,
Oh,
so
okay.
19 plus 6, 25.
Okay, we got
25
we have like
cards.
we have more than 5 times what we need to get.
How many yellow to make a white? Equivalency?
Around 100.
Okay. Well, we probably have an extra white then.
And then Hendrix there with the
Roughly.
kid. Just
Actually,
I have this
let me-
kid. I don't know what to.
The kid.
Yeah, I don't know what to. We just put him down. I feel like they're gonna eat him if I do.
What is it? What species is this kid?
They are a tiefling.
Okay.
The horns are not snapped off.
Okay, well, it's a good start then.
Have they got any visible
Yeah,
markings? Or
They're
on
not.
their-
You take the kid. I'm gonna just. I don't want. Just hand the kid to Lyranok. Just sort of to carry him.
Okay, yeah, sure.
And then
I'll take it.
I prestidigitation the mud off or the blood off my clothing.
Nice.
Have they got any markings or kind of identifying marks in their clothing or skin?
Are they conscious?
They
No,
are
they're
not
unconscious.
conscious. You see that there is a strange series of like scars and markings like up their rib cages and along their forearms, like ritualistic scarring.
Does it look self-inflicted?
Or voluntary, maybe. They're thin framed, not very full, not very muscular, more thin, weenie. I just said that word and I came out of my mouth. And I just went, what does that even mean, Cameron? What does that mean?
Told him to get a weenie.
I think I tried to say he's teeny weeny or teeny wincy, but
Nice.
the teeny did not come out.
I was trying to figure out some like slang I didn't understand.
Yeah, I just made it up. Started a new slang. Yeah, I mean he's probably like late 20s.
I was not a kid at all. Fuck.
Max
It's
Max
very
Max walks up and looks at him. Oh, he's claimed.
I'm
What
sorry?
does Max
I don't know what that means.
He's one of the servants to the circle.
When the sacred circle thing.
The Scarlet
markings?
Circle, the ones that
Yeah.
serve the Queen, yes. They have lower attendings in the lower cities. They will never be granted much more than this honor, as they would say it themselves. But they are not to be harmed when they're down here, so the fact that you helped one is a good thing.
For who?
Well, for you, if it's less of saving a person and more of a pet to them.
Sorry, just to clarify, Cypher, we're considering this a kid. Like
Quite
I'm
young.
not sure. I'm not sure if kind of like 20s is still. I'm not sure with tieflings. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, right, I see what you mean. I say kid because they're like really small, like stunted growth, but their
Gotcha.
face is older.
Gotcha.
Like
Is
their
it because
emaciation
they
is
have goat horns?
maybe
Gotcha.
all their growth went to their horns.
So it's kind of more like a young adult than an
Yeah,
actual
young
kid.
adult,
Yeah.
a YA,
Okay. Cool. Cool.
yeah.
Cool. Cool. Cool.
We've saved this tween.
We saved the tiefling twink.
Don't call it a.
No.
It's ruined. It's absolutely ruined.
Stop this session.
Big twink energy. Okay. Well, if he is valuable, or if we can return him to the people, it will protect him, or I suppose give him less of a shitty life than we should.
We keep him here. Watch over him until he comes to.
It's probably a good idea.
Well, it's not up to us really. We're already overextending our hospitality. I feel.
Oh yeah, I forgot
Yeah.
it's our house that we're at. Shit. No, sorry, Max. I wouldn't want to leave you burdened with.
It could be seen if the Scarlet Circle find him in here, they may think we're trying to keep him hostage. Maybe
Understood.
best to
We
put
take
him
him back.
outside. Yes,
Okay.
take him
We
back.
should make sure that they're not hurt then.
I put my
I
hand
mean,
on their
yeah. Okay,
shoulder
go.
and I'll cast Cure Wounds.
He gasps and wakes up and looks in the room, in the chamber, stares around, surprised.
Oh my god, it's packed. This is packed.
The Max starts to speak in that strange language, this local language, and seems to calm him down somewhat and gestures for him to leave at the door. And he looks at his wounds and looks at his frame and like kind of rubs his temple where he once is bleeding and gets kind of a strange look over the group and then just leaves.
Wait, before he goes, Taco tells Max, Max, tell him to remember us. We can use everything we can get in this city.
She does that. She points at all the group, and he gives this kind of like strange hand signal to her, and she repeats it back, and then says to you, he says he's appreciative of the help, and he will pass on to his bloodlord that he's been saved.
Bloodlord.
The more I hear of
Let
this
us-
city, the more that I sound like it.
We should approach these towers to try and get up. If we can find a way to get home within the next day, that would be appreciative. But I fear that we are going to miss the boat and my friends' meeting, and I'll be left without any clue of where to go.
I too would like
So you want-
an expedient solution to all this.
So you want to try and
Torkel,
go
I
by
learned the word
elevators?
Torkel, I learned the word expedient from you. Did I use it right?
Taco taps him on like the shin guard or the thigh guard, and he's like, "There's a good use of the word." Yeah, it's always important to find time for learning.
All right. What do you guys want to do? I want to try and use one of the elevators.
Yeah, I want to try and get up there so we can try and contact with that wizard or whatever else.
Okay. Which ones do you approach? Do you approach the ones with have golden? Well, do you bid Max farewell? And
Yeah,
keep-
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, will we give
May I
Max
ask, man?
all the yellow? The yellow. Will we give all the yellow shards to
Yeah.
Max?
Okay.
It's pretty
Yeah.
much 100 cipher.
Yeah. Okay. This will keep me fed for a couple of weeks. Thank you very much.
Thank you for essentially teaching us the ropes and saving us for the first night.
When I heard your accents, I couldn't help but get involved.
Well, I'm glad this meeting didn't end in you poisoning me again.
I don't know what you mean.
The last time we met, we were discussing your theories, and then I believe you poisoned my drink. You did leave me a message that I thought on sometime over the years, though.
She thinks and thinks hard. I'm not I didn't poison you. I left you a note. Is your memory fogged?
She telling the truth?
Make an
Yeah,
insight check.
I would like to inside check that as well, if that's okay.
Yeah,
This is poison. No, it's coriander.
12.
You just had allergic reaction.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a bad muscle.
16.
Nice.
Lyranok, best you can tell, she's got some secrets close to her chest, and she ain't going to reveal them in front of all your friends.
okay.
Okay, I'm gonna insight check because I have an actual fucking.
Oh,
I'm so confused about this character. 23.
Why have you got advantage?
Because racial thing. Insight checks investigation.
Okay, no problem. 23.
I just want to hit racial. Oh my god.
That is. This woman. Sorry, he'll make up for it later in the campaign. The 23. This woman is a lot smarter than she looks, a lot smarter than she lets on, and is she survived in the city for a great number of years, and 23. Yeah, you would say that she played you guys. Like, she got involved with you guys and got good out of it. That's just the way of it in this city.
Yeah, it's not illegal to play people. It's fine.
No. But she got some riches. She got some friends. She got people she helped who now might owe her a favor or wish to owe her a favor one day. So, yeah. Okay. Torkel, when you leave Max, what elevator do you want to head to on the splits?
Could we have asked Max about the different people at the
You can?
elevators?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Okay. So what? She asks. You ask her, and
Just like if there's one that's probably a better option for us being
Yeah.
outsiders, or if they're both just going to,
roll your heads.
yeah.
The ones in yellow are the foot soldiers of Neza Monir, who is some considered cursed because all of his skin and eyes are gold.
Is it dragon?
That's what I was thinking.
And then there is the ones which have like two, like a red and a blue, like split down their head in like chalk, is the Jerichurch twins, Aisha and Dulama. And they are known as impulsive, brash, violent, but they are upfront. They are, what you get is what you see. Whereas in Neza can be not all what you see. He's
So we've
known
got
to.
the straightforward, violent ones, or the trickster.
It's kind of like Shagor. It's Palace in some aspects. It's cool. I love it.
We're taking the straightforward violent ones. I can relate to this. Right? We want the straightforward violent ones.
I
not
think
the
so.
trickster?
I think so. I think we've already been played now once. So straightforward
Okay.
seems good.
You walk up to the oval elevator. There is half a dozen of these strangely dark black and blue face painted individuals, and you just offer them 5 white shards and point at the platform.
Yep.
Okay. You rise and climb up, and almost like like if you imagine like a city block from like a main street, like ripped in half and pulled apart by a couple 100 feet. That's what the splits is. On one side seems to be all yellow and golden paint to identify it as territory of Neza, and then the other side is blue and black all over those side of walls and streets and junctions where the street has been ripped in half, and there's bridges between the two, between this chasm, that half of the bridge is painted one colors of the other and half its other, very, very much marking where the territories meet and end. You rise up to the top, and you can see drink halls. You can see small, more finer luxury goods. When we say luxury goods, we mean like meat. We mean like maybe some cooked food. Some salvaged items which are nothing to you are, oh, you've got some ointment cream. Oh, I could go to the apothecary in Erith to get that. But out here, that's like worth something over here. And you walk through the streets, and it's kind of like walking through like a gang-ridden city street. Like on every corner, there's a couple of these people in these colors. Like it's a large gang, maybe a small army. And as you go like further and further, like deeper, and there's actually like kind of like this concaveness, this strange roofness to it with like hides blocking out the sun. You feel like you're getting closer and closer to more defunct and damaged buildings, but deeper and deeper into their territory as the colors become more prominent. The darks, blues and blacks, the bruiserness, the roughness of their foot soldiers look more hardier, and businesses start to get more important. You see that there is a weapon crafting shop making homemade javelins and hand axes. Nothing else fancier than that. And you approach a large, tall orc woman, and around her is half a dozen men with slave collars, who are not bound by chain, but they seem to be doing menial work, and the only thing they have on is a loincloth, and their skin is like heavily burn scarred and damaged and healed, but they don't seem to pay any mind. And the woman holding a javelin in one hand and a sling in the other, like kind of walks up to you with a kind of a couple foot soldiers getting off of their daises and like kind of approaching. There's maybe about like 12, 13 of them. And she speaks to Sophia. She looks at Sophia and says something.
How much?
And Sophia, I'm going to make an insight check for Sophia.
We never give to Sophia the ability to speak their language.
Oh, did we not?
No, we never cast tongues.
Oh, I thought that was the plan.
I can cast tongues on her just now.
If you want to.
Yeah, I'll cast tongues on her.
Okay. She speaks, and then the person like raises their eyebrows. Now, as far as I'm aware, you can understand. So she can say stuff, and you can understand the same way that they can understand it. So that's an interesting spell to have.
Yeah, but I cast it on thingy.
Yes, on Sophia.
Sophia.
And she speaks this language, and she says, which you guys understand as well. I want to see the twins. I got some meat to trade. If I got to pay a price to get in to see them, I will. Sound good? Person looks at them and says some gruff, stern things. She replies back, they're tough stuff. They've seen a fair fights. Just seeing if the twins are interested in some mercenary work. The big, tall, orcish lady nods, mutters something, and then Sophia goes, I'm going to need 15 shards.
Yeah, we have 15.
We have. I'll give 6. That's all I have.
I'll give her the 11. I'll give her 9 out of the 11 I have.
Okay. She hands it over. The person like measures it up and scans it. And the shards are in uniform. Some of them are like long and thin. Others are like more oval shaped. Some are even more like proper like needle point. But the whiteness, the bleached color of them is clear. She looks at the 15 scabs amongst her hand and puts it in a small draw bag and nods and steps aside. And Sophia walks forward and says, do you guys like kind of covertly, don't fuck around. There's a lot of them here. We don't need to be in any trouble. But I got the weapons in my backpack in case we need them.
No, it's...
Guys, do we still have our identification stones?
Yep.
Yep.
I wouldn't see why not.
Okay. You enter, led by an escort of 2 of the lesser guards, which go down this kind of corkscrew, wide-brimmed staircase. And you can hear water dripping. You can hear like vast pools like pouring water into. you can hear people laughing and chuckling. And as you come to the bottom floor of this, there's like kind of like an impromptu bar. There are instruments playing. It seems like you've wandered into like a midday party. It's only like 11 a.m. It's still pretty early after all the fucking around you guys have done. But the guards walk you up, and on a big lavish reclaimed recliner of stone which has been covered in rags, you see a woman in dark blue, like dark blue colors, with a light blue face paint on her, and she is covered in black tattoos. And then you see a man leaning against her, or leaning beside her, and seems to be talking really intently, and he is completely wearing black, and he is covered in blue tattoos, like face tattoos, like spirals, and think like really tribal stuff like that. But they're like yin and yang. They're totally opposite, color dependent. His eyes are dark blue, tattooed, and her eyes are dark black tattooed, and both of them are bald. But she is very feminine appearing, and he is male appearing.
On our walk through here, did we see any metal or any like any decoration made out of metal or anything along those lines?
Yeah, make a perception check.
Okay, hold on.
Roll.
Perception.
23.
20.
On a corner where there's like a little pool where water's feeding into, you see some pieces of armor. Actually, you see some pieces of metal breastplate armor, and there seems to be javelins like thrown through it. Like they've been testing to see if they can get javelins through it, and they've all just bounced off the breastplate.
Okay.
Sophia walks up to them and gives a curt nod as the man stands up and the woman stays sitting and says, which you can understand. Great Dirkruk twins, Aisha and Doma. I come as representative of my mercenary band to offer services to you. We seek a fair and honest price. We wish to travel outside the city and get back to our homeland. We are experienced warriors and casters something that we have not seen here yet. We may have items to parlay with and bargain, or offer services.
Whether we can create something for her.
And we may be able to make things for you. Either
A
of you.
javelin.
Weapons or armor. The man that kind of does this kind of like slow pace up towards Sophia, and like gets like right in her face and looks at her. His like dark blue eyes, which are actually, they're not magical, they're tattooed. He's put blue ink in his eyes. Like looks her up and down, and kind of walks around the party and like gets very in your face, like sniffs you, pulls your hair, like lifts your hair, looks at the back of your scalps. Sophia goes, "Don't react." And he like just kind of stays amongst your persons. The woman then speaks. And she speaks in actually a language do you understand. She speaks in Southern Immune. And all of you understand it. And she says, "Foreigners, it is rare to see your kind here. What business, what things, more meaningful details can you offer the great twins of the City of Spines? I give this tongue to you to understand." She casts tongues on herself.
That's the first magic we've seen while we've been here, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to count the elemental that.
Yeah.
That's probably where the elemental came from.
Torek will step forward and he'll say, "We're in desperate need of assistance to return to our land, and we have brought our services, but also our craftsmanship and our ability to provide you with things you may not have. All we ask is, do you have a way for us to have passage to the arcane means or anything?
Looks at Sophia. A man speaks for you?
God.
Yep.
Sophia says, well, he is the most experienced craftsman that we have in our party, and only allow him to speak when he knows of such things, and he would be better at giving you more details of what we can offer. I am the leader, I have the brains, he has the smarts with weapons. I'm going to make a
My
persuasion
hands
check with her.
serve.
Yeah.
Oh, I like the way you
Do you
keep
want
forgetting.
to do you want to assist, Sean?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Torko says, I'm sorry, I may forget, it may appear unusual, but my hands are here to serve. And he gestures to Sophia, Our Lady. I speak only because I can create things.
Not
Oh,
good.
buddy.
Not
Oh,
good.
buddy.
The
I guess that's a
woman,
no on the inspiration.
the woman looks towards her twin brother, and he says something in a tongue doesn't really understand, and he kind of pokes Thoric in the stomach, like against his abs, and gives a chuckle. And she looks back towards Sophia. Foreigners have a hard time adapting to our culture. I wish to see better integration should this conversation progress. She nods. Of course, of course. I will say this, great twin, who owns so much and has so much power. I am the best warrior, the best killer out of this troop. The best at finding things out, learning about people. But I must admit, adapting to a new culture, when I myself am experienced blade in one city and not much more, leads me to think that I must defer to my best speaker. You will understand them thanks to the spell, as they cast on me. If I elect one to speak for all, is that acceptable? Does that break any customs with you? It is not unusual for one to elect a servant to speak for them. She nods, looks back to the party. Which fucker wants to speak to this lady?
I can do it.
Can we all turn and look at Hendrik in what, like, all at the same time?
I was thinking Leonard, but fair enough.
I mean, up to people. I'm happy to do it, but if Hendrik wants to take it.
I'll do it.
She looks between Hendrik and Lernok, and then Hendrik steps forward. This is a great sorcerer who is an understander of the arcane and has powerful abilities. He is, well, his name is Hendrik, and she steps aside.
Can I go back in time 5 seconds? And before I was introduced, and we're still deciding on who is going to be talking, and it's like everyone looks at me.
Mm-hmm.
I just pull Lernok aside real quick and be like, so like, what's the successful negotiation at the end of this? Just us getting navigation out of here? Is there anything else that we need that I need to be negotiating for?
No, we just need a manner of getting home.
Okay, then yeah. She introduces me, and I'll step forward.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a negotiation for us to have not what's the out of character? What's the fucking word? Not like just not just like travel, but like
Transport.
Thank you. Fuck. For us to
We
have
picked a good
transport out of
one.
the city. I know. I started the session today with brain no good.
Mm.
Sure.
that is what we want. What is it that you ask from us for that?
Looks towards you, and she clicks her fingers, and the brother like turns around and walks back towards her, and sits like beside her, like just slightly beneath her. Sorry, on the rugs, like calling a dog back to its heel. And this transport, mystical, is what you're seeking.
That would be preferred.
You are lucky you came to us. Me and my brother, we lay claim to the only great wizard who is not loyal to the queen in the circle.
DM, I'd like to cast enhance ability on myself with
Subtle?
sans. What's it called?
Subtle caster.
Subtle spell.
Yeah, okay.
Subtle spell.
Mm-hmm.
Points off. Okay, cool. I think it lasts like an hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And she continues. He has this talent. We have used it, and it works. But understand, this is an expensive request. As foreigners, you have already said you offer much. But if you're going to leave us, whatever payment you give us must be meaningful enough to see your departure.
Understood. Do you have something in mind?
There is one thing we would like. There is a creature on one of the peaks north. It is called Grey Washer. You may recognize it as a volcano. We wish to have a clutch of lava crawler eggs brought back to us.
You cut out there. What type of eggs was that?
Lava crawler eggs. It's a creature which nests close to the heat of the volcano.
Okay. Lava crawler. DM, can I roll a Arcana check or nature or something like that to figure out
Nature.
that is?
Nature, yeah, it's a monstrosity.
That.
Not sure. Oh, that's an inside check
Oh.
for Learlock. Never mind.
I'm fine rolling nature.
Yeah. 13.
13.
Could
Is that
be.
salamander?
Maybe.
And
could
it
be an
lay
elemental.
eggs, right?
Yeah.
Well, they don't lay eggs though.
No. Elementals don't really fornicate. They're more just created from mass.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'll just ask this lava crawler so that we get the right eggs and the right creature. Could you describe the lava crawler to me?
It is a large insectoid beast that cannot be harmed by heat nor the cold grips of the desert at night. It grows large in size, comparable to the length of the great worms which burrow under the desert floor.
Oh.
You must be careful if you're to run into a melee with one, do not get too close. Its blood will scorch your skin.
And how many eggs do we need to bring back?
As many as you can, but 3 would suffice. We already have a nest scoped out, but it is dangerous. I'm always wary of our counterpart across the other side of the sides and having enough men to, defend ourselves. So we were kind of waiting on the opportune moment for mercenaries to enter the city.
If we bring more than 3 eggs, could we trade those additional eggs for information on what is going on outside the city? In this region in general?
Yes.
Okay. I believe we have a deal then.
It's agreeable. Looks towards Sophia. If you're done with this man speaking for you. Sophia steps forward. Yeah, that's enough, Hendrik. Good job, buddy. And taps you on the shoulder a couple times.
I just like I like look over like what is she doing touching me, and then I just never mind. Step back.
Yes, powerful twins. We will bring you these lava crawler eggs back, and we will have our payment returned to us for mystical transport to place we need to go back to home. She nods and then gestures with the flick of her wrist for you guys to leave.
Okay.
All right.
Well, it sounds like we've got our next mission.
Yep.
Is there any different forms of currency lying around in this area that's noticeable?
Perception check.
Sure.
Check. 21. There is, that armor, that breastplate armor that you saw, that Torkel saw. You saw that as well. And as you flick your eyes across it, you can see that as you walk past the table, there is a map, an unfurled map on the table. And I want you, Orly, to go into Legend Keeper. I want you to go into geography and look at extra maps.
I've got 2 options here.
You should see the first one.
Yeah.
The map of and that's the map you see.
Okay. Oh.
And you walk past and you leave the chamber.
I will try my hardest to make a mental note of what I saw
Yeah.
in character.
And that's, I think, where we're going to go and end the session there, guys. God damn. That was an intense session.
Can I just say bravo to the introduction to this city? That like the very start of it was traumatizing.
Yeah, it is probably in like the region of the second. It's not the top, but it's one of the most times I've been uncomfortable in the game in a good way. Anyway, like it's basically going, oh, this is just not where we want to be. It still doesn't quite top. Sean's father's character.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But holy shit, that was like on a fucking different level of oh my god, I want to go away. I want to leave.
Oh, I just saw the map. This brings back fond memories.
Wait, I can't see. What would the geography?
Geography, extra maps.
Sorry, DM. This is what I think it is, right?
This is what the lava crawler?
Oh, it's the Dominion.
Is this something that all of us should be looking at, or is it just the people who've been told?
I don't mind.
He can't stop me.
He can politely ask us not to because it's not something we should be seeing. I was holding back because he said Ollie go and look at it, so I didn't want to. But
which is probably funny because I think I'd probably be the only one who wouldn't I'm getting the feeling that I'm the only one that doesn't recognize this geography.
No,
whereas the rest of you maybe do.
Do we?
Yeah, I wish I could think of some metaphor to explain it, but I don't. It wouldn't translate very well for explaining this place.
No.
Map of the domination.
Let's do piety.
I didn't get jack shit that time.
Okay.
I was tempted, but it would have made everyone angry.
Yeah. Piety for Boldre. But 1 point for Orly, and 1 point for Lernok.
Why do I get 1 point?
Treating strangers with respect. You treated Max with respect.
Oh yeah. I'd argue tip that 0 because when it came to the circle, I completely disregarded helping anyone, and I was more interested in getting money.
Fair enough. It counteracts. It's up to you. But a point for Lernok then for helping in the circle for the bladed rain, as it's known.
Okay, yeah, that's an apt name.
Yeah. Kinos, taking decisive action on impulse. I'm going to give 2 for you because you did it with pursuing that woman and also stepping forward and talking to the twin.
Yeah, it doesn't say successful decisive action, does it? Because that's fucking dumb.
No, it was one of these. I did keep it in mind, but I was like, going, this is what as a high persuasion character, I should be the one to step forward, and then going, oh wait, no, I should not do that. This is not a situation where it would benefit. But it's like,
Yeah, and then I don't think. No, yes, a point for aiding the weaker and impeding the strong for Thoric.
Cool.
Excellent. Very good. Very, very nice.
Jeez. That was a really good session, by the way.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Yeah,
For inspiration as well, and inspiration for all of you, because all of you guys role played your characters so well today.
Thank you.
Yay.
God, that was so stressful. I was like, all right, I think I've built the city enough, guys. I think I got enough.
Yeah, do you reckon?
Oh my god. Well, if we can't get those eggs, we might be here a while.
That's a good point. How many days left until
None.
your meeting?
Tomorrow.
0.
It's 0.
Yeah.
Sean, you weren't here the last time I was here, and when I caused all this, I apologize. I'm very sorry.
Look, this is D&D. This happens.
No, me as a person, not the character. Me as a person. I apologize.
And again, as D&D, it happens. You can't. Not everything goes the way that you want it to go.
Did no one tell Sean of his option?
Wait, what?
To kill Orly?
No, to just message your contact.
Yeah, I could send him a message. Actually, that's a good point.
Yeah.
No one told him?
Yeah, we certainly did. That's why we brought up message. Why we brought up sending.
Yeah, we brought up the concept of sending.
We
did sending.
We brought up sending so that we could talk to the dragon and Jerome. But there's a good point that I can cast sending tonight and contact my friend's husband.
Ex-husband? I
Ex-husband.
don't mean that.
Well, I mean, he's dead now, so definitely.
Well, yeah, definitely now. But I know they were separated before, but I don't remember if they actually divorced.
That was so smart. I just want to reiterate when you guys we can sell this map to the gem barons. I was like, fuck, that's smart.
That's not intended. Okay.
I was terrified during our negotiations there a few minutes ago. Obviously, in character, I didn't want to talk, but I was almost going to try and meta pigeon the fuck out of it. The map, maybe the map.
No.
But
I don't
feel like I want to give them the map. I don't want.
Yeah,
that was to use that map.
That was exactly why I was like, can I check them for their opinion on the Queen?
Oh yeah, right.
Because if it was like, yeah, you natural 20, and they're very loyal to the Queen, and it's like, oh shit, we can make use of this then. But except if we don't know,
we give it to them and they give it to the Queen and they look amazing, and we just get our travel home, or we give it to them and they overthrow the Queen, and then that becomes a new.
I mean, we're anyways.
If we're out of here, then who cares at this point?
If we're going to use the map, though, we should use it before we go and try and get those eggs.
Yeah, I was going to say, or we could use it as a safety net if we can't get the eggs.
You cross the sides, you go across the sinew bridges, and you give the map to the other gem baron.
Now, what are you trying to do with us right
Nothing.
now?
I'm not doing anything.
Let's start civil war up in here. Let's go. We're going to talk about what he's trying to start the fucking communist movement in the city.
Cypher's like, I love this city, I love too much. You guys aren't going fucking nowhere.
It was the way he was like, "Oh my god, everyone should be. They should all distribute it equally on takeaway. Don't hammer and sickle, hammer and sickle."
Yeah.
Do you know how much strength it took for me as the kind of person that I am, not to be like, okay, we're going to change the entire arc of this character, and he's going to now lead a communist revolution. That's like that would be that'd be so. I'd fucking love that, but I don't think Torko's the character to do it. But yeah, become fucking Lenin or Stalin.
Hang on. Those are two very different characters. Which are we talking here?
We're being honest with ourselves. I'd definitely be Stalin, and I'd have to kill him.
Yeah, I'd be Stalin.
I'm
Okay. No. Stalin didn't kill anyone. He just erased them from history. That's all.
Yeah,
I'm just imagining Torko like leaning on a bench talking to some of these inhabitants, being like, "Did you know you have rights? God says you do."
Come to the forum where we'll talk about the fact that you could just simply take all of the wealth from the top.
Join me. We'll call it the Red Army.
Also, part of me wants to like just release all the crazy ones that are underneath, like somehow just like get them into the city and see what happens. But
That's the first thing I thought.
Holy shit, that is actually evil because it's not
Yeah.
going to be it's not going to be the higher ups that suffer.
But have you ever seen like World War Z with all the zombies climbing on top of each other and they eventually
Yeah,
get up? They're semi-sentient. They just kill the guards. Yeah, that's the part in Jerusalem. Anyway, I'm going to bounce because I have plans. But I will see you all next Sunday.
Right.
See you next Sunday.
Next Sunday.
Stealing some lava crawler eggs.
Next.
Oh my god! Those are the fucking things we fought in campaign 1, and they were fucking evil. I think.
Monster Manual, Bailey. New Monster Manual, round 2. Let's fucking go.
I know. I was going to say we just fought a rock. No, we didn't. The rock fucking attacked us and then went, too much work, and then left. So I'm terrified by the wildlife in this fucking country.
As soon as I heard egg and fire, I was like, it's going to be something fucking horrific. And it's worse than I imagined.
Fine.
Oh god, this city is evil.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it way more than it should be.
I can describe how painful it is for Lyranok to not be outspoken here.
Yeah.
Like, so unpleasantly, but...
Oh, this city is completely evil towards all of our characters. Well, most of our characters.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how close Lyranok was to attacking the guards at the start. So it's like, they pull the tiefling with the fucking snapped horns, and I'm like going, oh my god, he's like so close to like attacking them, but it would not go well.
Wait, I do know this geography.
Remember.
Yeah, the inlet. The inlet, that's what fucking tipped. Let's go.
I love Wonderdraft. Oh man, what a fucking...
Damn, you got it looking really close to the OGE map.
Hmm. Tried my best.
It looks great, I love it.
Yeah, but I do mean it in the nicest possible way. I fucking hate this city.
Yeah.
Like,
I love the verticality of it. And the whole hierarchy kind of sense. That's the like.
I appreciate it's so on the nose in when it comes to the hierarchy, but it's also not in any way trying to hide that fact, so it just kind of runs with it and does well.
Yeah.
Like,
was there I know we finished the session, but you were describing the rope bridges and that they have visible borders. Was there sentries at those borders, or is it just the border itself is kind of like
the border itself, like the bridges? There's no one on the bridges, but like once you get from, like, if you think, like, literally grab like a city block and rip it apart by a couple 100 feet, and then you connect like rope bridges to one side to the other.
Gotcha.
And the border guards, if I think of it that way, or the gangers are like on either side of where the stone actually meets the bridge. You're
Yeah.
not gonna...
So we could walk across and potentially not have to pay and like any like again.
Yeah, yeah. You wouldn't have to go down then come back up again.
Gotcha. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paying is just level wise. Vertically. Well, yeah. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely around next weekend, but if we're planning to have a session the following weekend, I don't think I'm going to be around for that for the 8th.
Sunday, I'm getting a tattoo all day Sunday, so I actually might not be here.
The 1st.
What have you
The first.
planned on getting?
I'm getting a sword on my arm.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh, there was a guy in my jury duty. I'll get the keep talking. I'll get up and I'll show you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
Yeah,
get
Tramps
Nerd.
Oh, you
I've got
said
a
on
lot
your
of-
arm. Never mind.
I've got a lot of tattoos now. Where's the character art? Misk. I'm going to end the event. There we go.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I think you have shown tattoos, right? I forgot about that.
Yeah, I'm going to get Iris from Witcher tattooed on me.
That reminds me, when the fuck is Witcher 4 coming out?
Next year.
Next year, okay.
Yeah, next year's GTA 6 and Witcher 4.
Well, hang
You're
on.
gone.
Well, let's see if 6 still comes out then. Okay, I'm just saying.
It comes out
Yeah.
a day before my birthday. It has to come out.
Oh, listen. I'm just saying, don't necessarily start making plans just yet. Because
Yeah,
yet we're still waiting on the next Elder Scrolls.
Yeah. Did anyone get remastered?
I didn't.
No,
yeah,
but
I
I've
will.
been watching people play it. I don't really have time to.
Yeah. I'm
buy
trying to
it right now.
fucking find a picture of just back of arm tattoo, but
I'm almost convinced that that whole remaster was less about selling that product and more marketing towards the S6.
It was entirely. The entire point of that was to have a third-party company do it for Bethesda, so that Bethesda didn't have to take people away from Elder Scrolls 6, just so that to tide over their fans. Because it's been, God, how many years?
It's been like 10.
5, 6, yeah.
Oh yeah, the five.
Let's see. When was Skyrim first released? Which is gonna be
2011.
They
14
did-
years.
11.
They
We
did
are
announce a
coming up
timetable
to-
though, and I think
we're
that was
coming
4
up-
or 5 years ago.
We are coming up to the same distance from Morrowind's release to Skyrim's release as we are from Skyrim's release to the next Elder Scrolls game.
so
Yeah.
top of
It's
the
like
shoulder
less than a
blade.
year.
This sword is top of the shoulder blade, right down the tip of my elbow.